Hailing frequencies are open. Hi everybody, welcome back to Shield of Tomorrow, the Star Trek RPG show here on Geek and Sundry Live. Hi everybody, hi crew. How's y'all doing?
Doing real good.
Yeah, so we actually have a lot to do at the top of the episode, so we're gonna start accelerating this a little bit today because we got mail. We got fan mails. So we're gonna be getting the we're gonna do the mail segments. We get them once a month at the PO box. So we're gonna dedicate a little bit at the top of every episode once a month to like open it up because you guys are so freaking rad sending us all this cool stuff. So we're just gonna jump into this now, shall we?
Yeah.
Max has told me that I'm gonna lose my shit over some of the stuff that got sent to us. So taped this up.
Oh.
Okay. All right. Who's this from? This is from.
And what you're saying is we're gonna do mail on this show mostly, yeah?
Yeah. We're gonna be doing it here. Amni Clark. Amni Clark. All right, cool. Let's see what Amni. Whoa. What is this stuff? Oh my God, that's beautiful. What is that? Everything we are began as stardust, and one day everything we will become stardust again. Oh, look at this.
Oh my goodness.
What is it?
Oh my gosh, that's
Oh, it's a
beautiful.
little frame?
Yeah,
Is
that's
it a
cool.
little paper?
And that looks like.
Is it paper art?
Yeah. And that looks like me.
That's great.
That's you?
That's me. I thought it was more.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
The point is
What
you're
is-
supposed to put a picture of us.
Are they us? No.
My
Are they
goodness.
Are they us? Are they us?
No, but look.
Oh. What is it?
It's
It's
It
green.
looks like a.
It's a big plant face.
Oh.
Oh my god.
Is it really?
Is it Jenny
Look
McPlant?
at that.
Wow, that's
Look how beautiful that is.
Oh,
These are
wow.
little rosebuds.
It looks like a Pokemon. It's like a
Wow.
Velawesome.
Oh my gosh, how much time went into making this? This is amazing.
Yeah.
I
What is
love
that made
paper
of?
art so much.
Little insignia on the side. This is fantastic. Holy hell.
I hope they were spending the time to make that like whilst we were on in the background for 3 hours. Like, I hope that's
Yeah. This is so amazing. Emily, thank you so much. This
Thank
is
you.
fantastic.
beautiful.
Emily Clark. Wow, that's so beautiful.
Don't try
Oh
to
my
make all
God.
of us
This
cry.
is,
Yeah.
this is one of the coolest things.
That's going on your
I
desk.
know, I
for
can't
sure.
wait to see that.
That's
Yeah,
just such a
yeah.
dad frame. That's a-
I break.
that's a
I'll
world
definitely
best
pass
dad.
that around.
Yeah.
That's oh my God. That's so
Space
freaking
Dad.
space
Yeah.
dad. Space.
So-
I'm space dad.
Space
Yeah, you are.
Dad.
Great.
You
I'm
guys
space
don't
dad.
hush your mouths. I'm going
All
to
right,
turn
all
this
right.
ship around.
Here we go. We
My
got another
mom
one.
is possibly
Uh,
watching
oh.
for the first time. Hi, Mom.
Oh!
Hi, Lisa's mom.
Hello, progenitor of Eliza.
For Elisa.
Thank you for creating Eliza.
We
We're all
like
very
her.
grateful.
She's the best.
Around, no one's gonna ever get you done. This is from somebody, Callisto. I think I've heard of them before. I don't know. Callisto, maybe?
Sounds familiar.
To the cast of Shield of Tomorrow. It's gonna be like Borg jumping out and killing us. I just know it.
Oh, no.
It's because that's Callisto's thing.
I felt that pencil break.
That's Callisto's thing. Callisto's
Yeah.
all about Borg.
Callisto.
All about
All
the Borg.
about that boy. That boy.
Oh,
No
you just spawned it.
snapping.
Oh my gosh.
Resistance
All right.
is futile.
Let's see. Oh, rad.
Sage.
Check out these Enterprise stickers.
Yeah.
That's cool as hell.
Cool.
NX01.
Better bring it down. Galaxy class, though.
We got here.
Right? Oh.
Feel free to read on stream if you've got time, though I'll warn you, it's a long one. Description of gifts is located on last page if you need to skip it. I might have to skip it because of how much we got to get through. But that's just a testament to how rad Callisto is.
Oh my gosh.
I think I'll just go ahead and skip to gifts contained. Okay, I'm gonna just read this out and then I'll pull them out. Gift for Sam, my favorite dice dragon lizard plant commander. A black dice bag containing a necklace of a dragon's claw holding a red carnelian stone, red of course, and a set of 36 D6 dice. And some fun pins for your hat. Yes,
That's
indeed. That's for Sam.
Badass.
Oh gosh.
that is
Got it.
perfection.
That's for
Max is our
Sam.
Vanna White right
For Hector.
Thing.
For Hector, who just needs to kiss the damn Orion already. A little BB-8 plushie.
I love that guy.
Borealis.
For Eric, GM of my heart, a wax model of the space shuttle from the Museum of Science and Industry here in Chicago. Really?
Ooh.
Eric's like,
There are
where?
trans buttons.
Oh, there it is. Oh, I used to get these all the time. Oh no! The tail fin broke off. It's wax. It's amazing that it actually survived intact. That's amazing.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, I'll find it. I'm gonna put that on the head of my desk. You know what? I'll put that on the head of my car. Just back off. That'll last. And for anybody who wants some stickers and X1 Enterprise and miscellaneous candy that should be shared amongst the crew, although I'm pretty sure that's gonna go to Eliza.
Oh, chocolate.
That was a big old Hershey bar.
That's a big. There's a
But it's
lot of
milk
candy in
chocolate.
here, you
I'm a
guys.
dark
Oh wait,
chocolate
I
baby.
see
I'm a milk
pencil.
chocolate
I'm
kinda
gonna
lady.
assume
Yeah,
that's for
chocolate,
Sam.
chocolate.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm gonna assume this is for Sam.
What's it? Is there a name on that
Yeah, it
pencil?
says WMU.
Throw the chocolate.
Theater.com.
Okay.
I'll hand this off.
I need
Thank
to
you
eat
for
my
this,
feelings this
for this
episode.
box of goodies. Oh my goodness!
I'm
And I
eating
will
this.
definitely read your letter, and I probably will find you on Discord and come and gush and thank you. I accidentally
Probably
glanced
is
down
not
at it, and all
necessarily
bold I see, to all you glorious bastards there at GNS, you are amazing, and we as a community are lucky to be along for the ride. Heh, puns with you. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
It's a good summary. Thank you so much, Callisto.
Oh my
Goodness.
goodness.
All right, one more. Got one more.
These are some of my favorites.
It's not small. Yeah, oh, you want to help me here, Max? Producer Max to the rescue, sir. All right, he told me I was going to lose my shit over this one, so.
Oh goodness.
Red.
Is
Yeah.
Oh,
This is
boy.
from.
Bless you.
It's kind of hard to read here. Joel Simmons. What the hell?
Oh.
What did you do, Joel?
Best framing.
The first part of this letter could be read on air if wanted. The second part just contains some details about the tower. I'm glad that you guys are specifying when and where I
about
can
the
read your
book?
stuff, because
Yeah.
I could have been just
That's
like,
helpful.
when I was 5. Hello, cast and crew of S.H.I.E.L.D. Tomorrow. Contained in this box is a piece of work that went through several iterations in my head, and that I honestly never thought I'd see finish. But with help of friends more skilled than myself, I am happy to present you with the Sally Ride Helm Station. The original idea came to me when Bonnie mentioned the lack of buttons that she could push when switching to alert statuses. So I figured I'd make a dummy box where some of those buttons with just some buttons and a cup holder for cream soda.
That is Starfleet
The
regulation.
project grew, and now I can offer you. The project grew, and now I can offer you a helm station with functioning buttons, but no cup holder, as I'm sure Commander Rue would disapprove. Also, it just seemed like such a good shame to cut a hole into the right acrylic plate, exposing the electronics underneath. Good call. So technically, without the cup holder, this could really just be any of the stations, but I'm sure Bonnie will be happy to share.
I just pushed the buttons now.
I've always had a hard time with the fact that I was introduced to Critical Role long after the Critmas was a thing, but the whole Geek and Sundry and Alpha community keep me wanting to be better, to be a better me, and to rise above myself creatively. This show is no exception to that, and thus I am happy to have found it at a time where it's still possible to make certain members lose their shit on camera.
We have no idea what you're talking about, right, Bonnie?
Thank you and everyone for your hard work. Simon
happy to have
Jameson, aka Aquila009.
Give me your
Aquila,
buttons.
Aquila.
Give me your buttons.
It plugs in.
Now you push a button.
Whoa. Whoa.
Whoa, what's all this down here?
Oh, fun fact! I went and
Oh
bought.
my god.
I know what it is. I saw the writing
Yeah,
in German
yeah.
on the box.
Yeah, this is like 5 pounds of chocolate for Eliza.
Oh
This
my
is like
gosh.
this bag is gonna break. It's got so much chocolate. Can I hand that off to you, Max?
At least we can
Eliza
help
will
with
be
that.
sufficiently
Chocolate.
caffeinated and chocolate
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
As
Okay.
a friend.
That's a friend.
you.
Okay,
Well,
now I
See
need
you as
now I
guess
need that
we'll help
battery
you out.
back.
So I'm told I can.
to that challenge.
All right, let's see. Max anticipated
where?
this, so he's already
Devin, will your
supplied me.
battery work for this?
He's
The battery.
he's already supplied me with a USB thing here,
Yeah, I
so I'm
know,
gonna plug
but
this
the
mofo
USB
in.
Throw
I kind of want. I'm gonna report. Oh my
so
goodness! Blue alert! Yo!
Oh, snap.
Oh my gosh, it's so pretty.
This is incredible.
And that's yellow.
Oh, wait. Hold on, Leo.
Oh, this is awesome.
Cool.
It really wants to go to red alert.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, shields up, but also weapons. Also weapons.
Yeah.
I mean, I do appreciate the
That's
That is
awesome.
so rad.
I could
Weapons
totally fit like a chocolate bar in that hole. Yeah.
It's a chocolate.
It's
bar.
a chocolate
holder.
dish.
Yeah.
Instead of a.
That is
cup
such a ripe
holder.
comment for. Never mind. Okay,
see.
this is rad.
I need to
What
use
is
my
this?
feelings
This
today.
is so really cool. I love that it's even got like a computer like sort of.
That is so cool.
Wow.
That's fantastic.
That's so awesome. My
Somebody
goodness.
Made that and
Okay.
sent it to us.
Thank you.
I hand that off to you, Max.
Thank you
I guess
so
we'll
much.
have to figure out a way to set this up. Thanks, man. Oh my god.
I will find a way.
Oh yeah, no, this is gonna
I
be your new
bought
thing,
lights. I bought lights online, like Red Alert, to where it would have like one
I
of those
remember that.
things. And Sax told me I couldn't do it. 'Cause
Yeah,
he was like,
Sax
"You
shot
will
it down.
blind people." And I was like, "But I just want the lights."
I'm just
Now I
very
have
good.
the lights.
Now you
and buttons.
I had to go and sell them on Craigslist because I couldn't bring them here.
So before we jump into the rest of the announcements, thank you. Of course, thank you again. That's all amazing. So we do get in the mail once a month. We visit the PO box, and we'll be opening them here on Shield tomorrow once a month. But definitely keeping us up to date. If you guys are being cool and sending us stuff, just let us know, and we'll look for it. That is so rad. The last thing I was going to say, don't forget that after the episode tonight and after every Friday, we now have Behind the Shield, hosted by Sam Jalev. We had our maiden voyage with Sam last Friday. And yeah, interesting. You know what? As I'm saying this out loud, I'm like, I wonder what the history behind the words maiden voyage are.
Presumably related to the way
What
that
is-
ships are gendered female, right?
I'm just curious about that because I don't know anything about that. I'm just
Gender
curious.
ships female, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like vehicles, more generally.
I'm not implying anything sinister, but I've never actually thought about.
Oh, sure.
Maiden voyage. It was the female
What
ships.
you imagined it me.
First.
Yeah.
I feel like most
Nope.
answers to
I
any
have a
question.
So stay
Recipe
tuned
for free
for
interpretation.
Better Society tomorrow.
Her
Yeah.
maiden voyage, and then later it was a matron-like voyage,
Matron.
and then a crone.
Yeah.
Did you have a quick announcement?
Do you have a quick announcement?
Yeah.
I literally just before here stepped off our beautiful Nerdist stages and I interviewed Sonequa Martin Green and Mary Chifo.
You sure did.
Oh my goodness. They are the warmest, smartest, most
Cool.
lovely humans, and I'm so pleased. It's going to be a part of the Fangirling show, which is an alpha show. So if you're an alpha subscriber already, you can just watch it. It drops on Wednesdays, I believe.
Yep.
If you're not an alpha subscriber, you can sign up for alpha for a 60 day, sorry, not 6 months, 60-day free trial. Use the code Fangirling. And check out this episode. We talk about Discovery. We talk about what they're fangirling about. Spoilers, it's Star Trek. They love Star Trek
fair.
and each other.
Fair.
It's so
That's
sweet.
fair.
It's like they're wonderful humans, and yeah,
Right on.
that's it.
All right. Well, without any further ado, I think it's time we launch into tonight's episode of Shield tomorrow. Oh wait, Sam, you have something. I'm sorry. Did you have something?
If that's okay.
I think we're willing to hear what you have to say. Yes, Sam. Go ahead.
I'm excited!
And now we're gonna start tonight's episode of Shield tomorrow. All right, welcome back, everybody. We're gonna launch into the episode now. We got a lot to cover today. I got the buttons. Did you get the buttons to work? Of course, we will not be pausing as Bunny has her new toy. So,
Sorry.
All right, that's Snort Laugh 1. We're not even into the game yet.
That's number two.
Yeah,
That's
there
2.
was another
I'm not paying
video.
attention.
No, well, the pre-shows don't count.
Pre-show.
It's been
Okay.
very,
For the record,
it's been a
doesn't
very
count.
emotional.
That's the first
beginning.
one
It has.
because the show started. That's the first
I'm
one.
gonna
right
rule
there.
that Behind the Shield counts, though, right? Isn't that fair?
I believe SOT stocks is
Did
tracking
SOT stats
things
separately?
separately.
Okay, that's fair.
We love and appreciate you so much.
And
Yes.
we're watching.
Should
We're
probably
watching.
turn
We're
this
listening
off to
that
save the
Snort Laugh.
battery till we need blue alert.
All right, so let's go ahead and do a quick recap. Quite the events in last episode. Your first encounter with Romulans, you're saving the Strethian race, so to speak, rescuing about 200 or so of their, or I think, no, 70.
71.
There was 200 originally on the station. Maybe I'm getting my numbers confused. But you guys rescued about 70 of their crew, not including the Federation officers that you were able to pull off there. You were able to chase off, or rather, I should say, make peace with a Romulan warbird that was revealed. And upon return to Sally Ride was finally able to head back to Starbase after this really high-stakes first contact mission. However, a successful first contact mission. Strethia is now the first new world of the Shackleton Expanse that the Federation has made contact with. And even though they are a young race that is still getting up off the ground in this technological adolescence of theirs, they consider themselves friends of the Federation and have opened up diplomatic contacts and have invited Federation members to come and basically establish an embassy on their homeworld. And you are all welcome back anytime. The President themselves is very thrilled to have y'all come back anytime y'all want to.
Come back in time here.
Which is going to happen because you guys have decided to institute a plan that's going to require a massive amount of manpower and resources in order to create essentially a rotating tachyon grid around the planet to prevent any of the Romulans from trying to capitalize on the absence of the Federation and steal vital resources off this planet.
But we haven't been approved yet.
They have not been approved yet. The Admiral wants to talk to y'all about that. But you're not... Your experience, even though your experience with Admiral Herbert is a bit limited at this point, her record is available to you, Martinez, and I'll give you this. You're not anticipating a lot of pushback on that.
Okay.
It's going to be all a matter of like how much resources Starbase 364 has got to give right now, considering the unique situation. Starbase 364 is currently under the flag of the Klingon Empire. Being on this side of the Federation neutral zone, when you guys are literally on the other side of the Klingon Empire, far, far away from home, with very few reinforcements and very few people backing y'all up. There is a ceasefire, sort of like a stalemate. I shouldn't say a ceasefire. There is a stalemate on the station between the Klingon personnel and the Federation personnel. And to ensure that things keep moving forward in a productive manner, the Federation has been allowed to continue its scientific endeavors on the understanding that they are it's all at the blessing and goodwill of the Klingon Empire, that at any moment could be shut down. The flip side of that is if it's ever shut down, Admiral Herbert has the ability to turn this place into a giant hunk of metal in space, which would open up the Klingons' backyard to possible Romulan incursion and God knows what else. So it's a bit of a stalemate right now still on Starbase 364. Everyone is really tense. Starfleet personnel has been ordered to stay on the promenade areas and above. However, the Klingons are free to roam where they freaking well please, since they compose about 60% of the personnel in the station is theirs, not to mention the chief engineer and the chief medical officer, all Klingon. Upon returning to Starbase 364, a couple of things are in play right now. First of all, Jiv has probably presented you with a report, Captain, explaining that the Sally Ride needs an engine overhaul. She's been operating her warp engines, even though they're advanced warp engines and they're capable of restoring their own power systems. She's been running herself pretty ragged, non-stop for well over a month.
Yeah.
Most starships, like even the Galaxy-class starships, are not capable of enduring the pounding that the warp engines have been able to take on the Sally Ride. So Sally Ride's due for an overhaul to get, basically, she needs to take a break. That's part one of where we're at right now. You guys have been in space dock a little over, I would say it's been about a day, I think. You guys entered space dock, you were debriefed, kind of figure out what the situation was, had a pleasant encounter with the General Kargan and Admiral Herbert, who's decided to set up has requested that you host a dinner on board the USS Sally Ride tonight for senior staff, including herself, and that is later this evening. Now, I'm also going to go ahead and give you guys a quick heads up, and this is a GM decision I'm making a little bit. So our episodes with Shield of Tomorrow, the way they play out is we don't really follow the episodic arc that the television series does, which means that in our timeline, things are moving outrageously slow in comparison. Mm-hmm. So events that happen and that are needing to happen in the television series as we bounce along, I'm going to start kind of playing with the timeline a little bit to accelerate where we are in the timeline and Stardate and stuff like that. Now, this might be frustrating to people who are tracking the Stardate, but I really want to move the game into newer territory. And so I'm going to fudge some of the time gaps. Like, things you're going to notice are going to be happening a little bit sooner than later than they would in the actual timeline of events. For example, you guys flew through Klingon territory just last month, which is when the war with Klingons broke out. Okay? The way I'm treating the war with the Klingons right now, in DS9 timeline and in Star Trek timeline, that war lasted an entire year.
A season.
Essentially, yes.
Yeah.
But also in the actual showtime, because again, Star Trek has the ability to bounce from episode to episode. Sometimes they don't even give star dates during the episodes, and they'll just say, and they'll make a reference to something that happened last episode, and they'll reference it like it happened 4 months ago. They can do that. It's a pretty handy little gimmick when you want to sort of advance the story and not get hung up on certain events. Because we're an RPG and we're not episodic in that regard, I'm going to fudge it a little bit because I want us to all get the juice of the Star Trek experience of what's happening at this point in the alpha and beta quadrants. So that's just a heads up to the audience at home. If you're starting to look at events, if you notice things are happening sooner or later than they normally happen, you're going, what? It's because GM's discretion here. I'm going to just kind of bounce us up.
It's because Eric Bana went back in time and he created a divergent timeline. Everybody
Killed
relax.
Kirk's father.
You can enjoy Star Trek still. It's fine.
Jeez.
This will be a different thing. It's a third one to keep
just
track
play
of.
and have
It's
fun.
fine.
Hey,
The Fahrenheit
you
time?
can fly
The
back in time
Fahrenheit
to grab a
time.
bunch of humpback whales and take them to the future to talk to an alien
Yeah.
code to save the Earth. We can do this. So, all right.
Eric, what was your grandfather's name? What's your grandfather's name?
My grandfather, John Campbell.
So this is the Campbell timeline.
John
We'll just
B.
call
Campbell.
this
Yeah.
the Shield of
Isn't he
Tomorrow.
on our
It's the Campbell timeline.
Yeah, my grandfather is on the plaque of the ship that I for the Sally Ride that I had made
Yeah.
because he gave me the VHS tape that got me into Star Trek.
Kelvin
So I
is
put him
called
on.
Kelvin because of J.J. Abrams' grandfather, I think, as well. I think, or uncle, or no, I think it was grandfather. So this is the
John
Campbell
Yeah.
timeline.
Oh, I'm sorry. My dad's John P. Campbell. My grandfather's John Campbell. Sorry. We're very Irish-Scottish. Okay. So, back to Star Trek. Right, so
never
we're going
left.
to pick up tonight. This episode's going to start off with Janelle Rue sitting at their command station, staring at a computer code. Oh, yeah. Commander Rue has just discovered that there is a code imprinted in their personal access computer in their quarters that is pinging possible information back to source unknown. However, the code clearly originated when it was sent to the command console, originated from the bridge during Lark Sage's shift, alpha shift, on board the bridge. And that is where we begin. Rue, you are literally looking at your reflection in the glossed black screen of the LCAR's display. And looking back at yourself, you can see your own expression changing as you see this code and you're doing the math and just you make the connections of who and where. And also to quick recap, you just as a reminder, you learned also that Tolosh, who has a command access code, has only been using it on the holodeck. And I should expand on that and say that this command access code apparently has its use is only for the holodeck apparently.
Which nonetheless invites my questions of who granted it.
Mm-hmm.
But a slightly more present breach. I bet you think this is funny, don't you?
You glance over your shoulder to find Dryden standing about 10 feet behind you. His arms are folded, and he says, "This kind of thing used to scare me. I don't find anything about it funny. If I didn't know Lark Sage through what you know, my first instinct would be to knife them."
We don't knife the junior officers these days. It's not the done thing.
"So what are you going to do?" He walks over to you and folds his hands behind his back. "I could give you a number of options."
I have a slate myself. I'll be talking to her, but I haven't forgotten about you either. I know you want to look into the ritual. You need a trill for that. Aren't any on this ship who could do the job.
I don't know what else to say. Only that the longer that I'm at the forefront of your mind, the more at risk you are, and the more at risk the symbiont is from going mad.
And yet, as little as I wanted you here, I want to lose you even less.
You won't lose me, Janelle. You know I'm with you. And you can call me back whenever you need to, but you'll need to learn that little trick. I know you thought you were a first-timer. I can't imagine what that must have been like.
Really? Because you were. Or weren't you? Are there hosts on hosts on hosts I'm missing here?
Trust me, you don't want to start thinking like that. That will definitely drive you mad. That's one of the reasons why I started going a little crazy when I was still at 31. It took a tremendous amount of tenacity to trust Lassie. I'm glad it paid off.
She's adapting.
I was about to ask.
Do I need to... Is reassociation a concern there?
No, it was never romantic. My feelings towards her always were, but Lassie was always the consummate professional. She's always viewed me as someone she loves, but not in that way. But she would never say it.
I like that professionalism. I like her.
Me too.
I guess we could look for a trill on Narendra.
It's always possible.
I'd like to start going through the computer manifest, then, of the station.
Rue, I should warn you that the more you talk to me, the more difficult it will be to separate Janelle from Dryden.
You're not supposed to be separate. That's what's wrong. You're a part of me.
There should be a wall in place.
There shouldn't be. You and whoever it was on that commission and Lieutenant LeClaire. Not that there's a Lieutenant LeClaire.
Right.
You all decided that.
Yeah. She'll watch your back, and if you need me, I will too. Though, fair warning, I'm not used to doing things by the uniform code. Lassie's a little more versed with doing things within the boundaries of Starfleet regulation.
Professional follows regulation. Couldn't she have been my first host?
You see why she pissed off the higher-ups so much? She's more of an idealist than I was.
If you weren't, you and I would have a lot more problems.
Yeah.
Well, between you and Sage, I've had quite enough shenanigans on this ship. So...
Can I offer something to you? And you're going to be a little surprised to hear me say this. If it had been me, I'd have done the same thing Sage did. And I think you would have too.
I'm not surprised by you. I guess you still have to be surprised by me.
I guess I'll have to watch and find out.
Please do.
I will. And it's like he bleeds away into thin air. Janelle, when he passes away, you feel like you feel disorientation for a second. It's borderline headache. Not so much of a throbbing sensation in your skull, but it definitely feels like you stood up too fast kind of thing.
About that manifest, though.
Okay, you want to take a quick scan through the computer to find out if there are any Trill on board Narendra?
I'd like to.
All right, go ahead and make a check. This is going to be a straight-up computers check.
Good.
Yeah, so my control security?
Emotional redolence.
All alerts on this ship are emotional.
All alerts on the ship are emotional.
I have my buttons.
That's a
and
quote
my
that will
tongue.
definitely carry through this
I
game.
walk onto the bridge. Like, how are you, Captain? Put it at yellow alert. I'm not feeling good today.
Shields up for real. Too.
Let
Yeah,
everybody
my
know.
emotional
Yeah.
shields are not.
Control
can't
security.
break them.
All right.
Control security, and I'm going to set the difficulty is going to be 0. So this will be a good chance to build some momentum. The computers, this will be a computer security check
Okay.
for Sally.
All right.
That's all you,
Chief.
Rin.
That's me.
All right. I'm going to be taking the cautious for the
That's hot
extra.
coffee. That is very hot coffee.
Thank you.
I have dark helmet right now.
Who's 3?
Too hot.
Who's our
We're, this is
3 down to 2 for cautious?
okay. Oh, got it.
It's difficulty 0.
5.
Go ahead and make a check.
Trust your
And what you get?
Write down this.
What is it? What am I rolling for?
You're rolling computers and security.
Okay.
I will accept command as well, because you are looking at a manifest. So whichever's higher for
That
Security.
they're
For the Sally.
equally
Command.
balls.
Yeah.
Commuter command.
I'm doing command.
Okay.
Commuter command.
All right, cool. Yeah, I know that Sally's not on the security ship. All right, so
Awesome.
Sally helps.
All right. She helps for 1. Then we are up to 5.
5 successes. Go ahead and juice
So
up that
Beautiful.
momentum
Maxed
pool.
out.
Max out our momentum, and then I will have 1 bonus in case I want to obtain information.
Sorry.
So, that'll be good to have
Oh
around.
yeah, I forgot. I should.
Help you out.
5.
I was just like
we're maxed out?
oblivious.
Oh,
We got,
I thought they said
we
up
had,
to
Yep, difficulty 0, 2. It was a 5 success check, which puts us to 4 with 1 bonus momentum if I want to obtain.
Currently on Narendra Station, there is 1 Trill, unjoined, named Sobar Neen.
Farnine. All right. Any biographical information?
Looks like a security officer. Does that make you happy? It looks like
little
a
bit.
looks like a security officer, lieutenant grade, unjoined, as I said before. Nothing particularly. Looks like this is the beginning. I would say they probably have the same trait as Lark over there, which is an untested, sort of like brand new officer coming right out of the academy style.
Oh,
but it's
so
brand new lieutenant.
So I probably taught him.
It's possible.
That's exactly the timeline where I
Then
was
yeah,
teaching.
it's entirely possible that this is somebody who came through your classes. Yeah, I mean Starfleet Academy is pretty big. There's a lot of instructors, but yes, it's entirely possible.
Yeah.
And you know what? That's totally something where you could be like, hey, can I spend a point of momentum and make it true that I
Yeah.
taught? Then do it.
Let's do it. That
All right.
sounds
Do
fun.
it.
So that's
You
my
recognize.
that's the bonus
Oh,
one.
this is
Because I got the 5 from the check.
All right, so using the momentum to change the narrative, yes, Sobar Neen. You instructed Sobar Neen. In fact, you happen to remember that Sobar Neen not really had a feel for hand-to-hand combat, but was damn good with the phaser.
So that's what was memorable about him. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Damn good with the phaser.
That
Yeah.
That is, in fact, the most important note that I will take on him.
Yep.
All right.
Let's get on. So we had that going on. We also had a great little exchange between Lieutenant Baker and our Lieutenant Commander Talon.
Science friends.
Yeah.
According to my notes, space is big and it takes up a lot of my eyesight. Dot infuriating to everybody.
Yes, indeed. Mala, you're in. If I remember correctly, you stayed on board the Sally. Is that
I
correct?
did. I
Yeah.
was sulking in the engine room.
Right. Okay, so we're gonna pick up.
yep, yep.
We're gonna pick up there because a few moments have passed since that happens.
Yes.
When you feel the sense. I'll leave it to you how emotional this would make you, but you hear the distinct, heavy, unmistakable footfalls of a Tellarite stomping towards main engineering around the corner. Jiv, I mean, everyone on the ship knows where Jiv is without having to ask the computer, really.
Yep.
He comes around the corner with a stack of data pads, and before like even really checking to see where he can set them down on one of the consoles, he dumps them in a pile. They spill over, and he moves over to one of the center consoles, closer to the engine core, and he doesn't even notice you. He's just looking at a data pad.
He doesn't see me.
Doesn't seem to see you. He's
All
just.
right.
sort of stand up and what are you doing down here?
He does this. He goes. What are you, like a Black Ops operative now? You kids sneaking around the engine core, scaring the hell out of a
Hey,
teller?
I was here first. Should be more careful with those data pads.
He leans over for a second. You're getting the distinct impression that you scared the shit out of him, but he did an excellent job at masking it.
I can feel it. It feels
So
great.
yeah, you spiked him a little bit there for a second. He just. I'm just doing some work. Sally needs a lot of work done on her.
Yeah,
A lot
tell
of
me
work.
about it.
And you and I both know that we're here for a minute to take a breath, and we both know that's not going to happen. Every single time we ever hit space dock, something happens and we have to get up and go, and I have to spend the entire adventure dragging Sally around, making sure she doesn't trip over herself because we're running her ragged.
Yeah,
What's wrong with you?
We never get a break.
You want to make a deception check on that one? Okay.
It's just
I'm
not
excited.
an empath.
Yeah,
know.
he's not. No. So this is going to be a control security check.
Good luck,
Okay.
rolling.
Yeah.
Good luck.
It's not bad.
Okay.
Difficulty is 1, and it's going to be a roll off. Ooh.
Oh, I only rolled one time.
Yeah, I don't know.
rolling for
You're so used to rolling. The Sally Ride intercepts and says, "Shiv, leave her alone." Okay.
She's having a hard day. Back off. Red
alert. How is this?
I got it.
I
What'd you
got
get?
what was the difficulty?
Difficulty's 1. Tell me how many
I
successes.
got one
you
success.
Okay. All right. So what did you say to him?
I said, "We never get a break."
It's that frustrating thing where people stare at you at least 2 beats longer than they need to because they want you to know that they know, and then he doesn't say anything. He goes, "Okay." Moves back over to the console and says, "What do you want to help me on
Yeah.
your break? Take your mind off of things,
Yeah.
whatever they are. Yeah. Here." He hands you a data pad. He says, "We're looking at least 8 hours straight overhauling the engine core. This
Bring
is
it.
all right."
Oh, I gotta go to a dinner. Dang it.
Wait, is that
So does
mandatory?
I hope not.
There's gonna be Klingons at that dinner. I know it.
Ah.
I know it. You watch. They always invite themselves. It's gonna happen. We'll have Klingons aboard the ship again. It'll be another Klingon dinner.
We've had a few on board for a while. They're pretty okay.
Yeah, no. I'm gonna tell you something, Ren. And
Yeah.
I'm saying this to you as a Tellarite who knows straight up, as a Federation officer, I fully acknowledge that what I'm about to tell you is really shitty. And that it's not befitting of Starfleet officers. I am flat out racist against Klingons. I do not like them. At all. I do not like Klingons.
Still waiting for the thing I didn't know.
Okay. I'm really good at keeping I got my reasons. But I keep them in check because I know.
This is you keeping them in check?
I open up to you. I mean, you already look. Every time I'm around a Klingon, you know I'm thinking about throwing him out an airlock. I know you're a Betazoid.
Wow.
I didn't know the specifics of the anger, but okay.
Well, you want to know the specifics of the anger?
Not really.
All right.
I want to know.
Okay, maybe. Bring it. Specifics of the anger.
One of the reasons I got demoted was because of a Klingon. That's all I'm going to tell you. But the Klingon had a hand in it.
Huh.
There should be 3 pips right here. I gave my life to Starfleet. And all it took was one stupid bad admiral and one jackass Klingon.
Well, you're here.
Yeah, let's work on the engine. You want to tell me what's up with you?
Not really.
Yeah.
Sometimes I wish you could read minds.
I
Be
mean,
a lot easier than talking.
you want to read it for me?
I just sorta misunderstood something that I didn't really know was there. That's new for me.
Oh, is this a relationship thing?
I don't know.
Shit. That means yes. I've never married. I've never settled down. It's hard for even a Tellarite like me. Let me put it a different way. I'm not... How do I phrase this for you to understand as a Betazoid? I'm not big enough of an asshole of a Tellarite to find a wife. And I'm too much of a jackass as a person of this crew to find somebody who's not a Tellarite. Does that make sense? Kind of walk that line?
Yeah.
But I'll tell you something. And this is not as sad as a lot of people think it sounds, but... You know, he kind of puts his hands on the bulkhead and just says, love exists in a lot of different ways, and you can find a way to love something in a non-romantic way, of course. I'm not getting creepy here. I'm trying to be sentimental. You caught that, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And he pats the side of the bulkhead. Sorry, I'm not a counselor, but... Here. Hands you the data pad and says, whoever it is, they're a jackass.
They're alright.
Yeah, that's not good enough for you, Mala. You're better than all right. Let's go to work.
Punch him in the shoulder.
Okay. What are you up to, Lark?
Well, Zadis was not in his quarters, so I went back to mine with both cream sodas.
Okay.
And just kind of...
So unless anybody has anything specific that they want to do, I'm going to go ahead and accelerate this and cut to our scene dinner on board the USS Sally Ride.
There's something I want to do.
Yeah, what's up?
Would I have the list of guests that would be arriving? Would I get that ahead of time?
You would get that ahead of time.
I'd get it ahead of time. How ahead of time?
Probably a few hours.
Are there Klingons on that list?
Not at the moment. At the moment, there's just the Admiral.
I'm still going to have a little powwow, little debrief with everybody,
Okay.
with the senior staff,
All right.
before the dinner that basically says, expect a Klingon to show up, and when this Klingon does show up, whoever they may be, just be as boring as possible so that they lose all interest and will want to leave early. Be as, and I don't mean this as an insult, be as human as possible and just get real vanilla with it. Does that make sense, Salon? Does that make sense?
Yes, I believe so.
And ideally, with our Klingon guests, if we do have any, potentially leaving early, out of boredom or whatever, then I'll be sure to discuss what happened on Strethia in private with the Admiral to try to get that approval, without mentioning, oh, we saw some Romulans, and this is what happened and this is what happened. Does that make sense for everybody? Also, I think I'm going to ask Tolash if he wants to be there, but I don't know what his procedure is, if this is something that he needs to attend. Like, I don't know what exactly his orders were to be our babysitter, right? So
Yeah, you can reach out to him and ask him.
I'm going to ask him.
He's not on the ship right now, but you can easily find him on the
Is
station.
he still assigned to us?
As far as you know, yes.
As far as I know,
As far as you know, he has not been
I'll reach
reassigned.
out to him, and it's as far as I know, it's like, hey, Tolash, we're going to have a dinner thing with some Starfleet personnel and maybe some other people from the Starbase. I don't know. I don't know.
Human food.
Yes. If you're more than welcome to join us. We'll be sure to provide some delicious Klingon cuisine, but you can also skip out. I don't know what your orders are. I don't know what your superiors would want you to do.
I appreciate you
kind of
making the gesture, Captain.
Sure.
I might as well be there. Since I understand you and your crew, it might make things go easier for you.
That actually might. Again, there hasn't been any noted Klingon guests that will be appearing, but I'm still...
He leans closer to the
yeah.
view screen on your desk, and he goes, "I guarantee you the general will be in attendance, Captain. He invites himself everywhere, and he has his eye on you."
Are we hearing this, or is this private?
I don't know.
I mean, I guess
I'll let you-
we could
from the bridge, or-
we could be on the bridge, and I could have just hailed Talash from
Yeah,
the bridge
you
and
guys
then
are-
somewhere on the station, and that's fine.
He kind of leans over and goes,
And then I'll let Talash know. It's like, Commander, as I'm sure you remember with the events that happened on Strathia and the people that we encountered, I'm trying to get approval to try to leave some sort of a defense for the Strethians. And I worry
Yes.
that if we, at this dinner, bring up the Romulan force that we ran into, that the general will be very, very interested and might derail some of those plans.
"If you bring up Strethia, it will gain interest with the general, and I've warned you about that."
I know.
I should also say, though, Captain, considering your plan to protect Strethia, it might become increasingly impossible to avoid the subject. The general, if he discovers what you're planning to do on his own without being told, it will look worse for you.
I'm sorry, say that again, repeat that, Commander? I
If
don't...
you do what you are planning to do without telling the general first,
Uh-huh,
it will look worse for you.
I understood, okay. All right.
Best to tell him instead of letting him discover it. Then his paranoid mind won't run wild, and he won't take his frustrations of being out here in this backwater station out on you and your crew.
It's very good advice, Commander. I appreciate that. So, I
Captain-
guess we'll see you in a little bit for dinner.
I will see you then. Cuts the transmission.
I was gonna say, Captain, if you need boring conversation, I'm working on about 7 or 8 new cream soda recipes that I can break down in a very tedious way.
Bring them all up.
Thank you, Captain.
Do not let anybody leave that table until you've run through all 7 of them. Anybody else have any other ideas for boring conversation?
I will not talk about my comedy classes because they are very exciting.
You know what? If you wanted to mention them, you want to tell a couple jokes, Talon, that's a very human thing to do.
That would be not boring, Captain.
You're right. You're hilarious. You're right. Don't do that. The life of the party.
There are passages of the Andorian Eddas which are, for some reason, very difficult to get other audiences interested in.
Perfect. Fantastic. Chief?
Oh, like talk about engines.
Okay. Sure. Anything else? Mundane thing that's going on in your life or anything?
No,
Okay.
I could just not talk at dinner. I don't know.
Okay, well, I'm just letting everybody know if anything pops into your head that you think this is boring, then feel free to share.
Okay.
Also, what is boring to a Klingon may be different from what is boring
Exactly.
to us.
Exactly. What is boring to a Klingon? Things like love, things like compassion, things like... Well, they're just very passionate about it. It's kind of a separate thing. But things like, relationship, that kind of thing might be something that may be boring. Stuff that's not Starfleet. Does that make sense? Sort of mundane, I feel like.
Lieutenant Commander Talon, can I speak to you privately?
Yes, of course.
All right, if that's all, I guess dismissed until dinner. We'll see
All right.
you guys in a little bit.
Sir,
Yes, sir.
I investigated those command privileges.
All right, let's head to my ready room, and we can.
Who's going to his ready room?
Yeah.
I think is everyone else
Splitting
like,
off into two scenes.
Yeah, filtering out.
And you two are going to go talk. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Let's do yours first then. So it's going to be you.
How long before dinner?
I would say it's about another hour.
Cool. Okay. Okay. Thank you for your time. I know it's very valuable. I'm sorry if this is inappropriate. I just, you always look so nice, and I was wondering if this is my first senior staff dinner, so I don't know. I kind of wanted to look more presentable for the captain, Would you help me?
Do you require assistance with your hairstyle?
Yeah. Maybe face. I don't know.
I use all natural products.
Perfect.
I can, if that would be helpful to you, I'm.
Yeah,
I'm
I
not
mean,
sure.
really, anything will help. I don't own a comb.
Oh, okay. Well, yes, I have a comb and a brush. Why don't you follow me to my quarters?
Thanks.
I want to come.
Thanks.
All right.
I just have a whole advertisement for like Talon's line of skincare products right
It's just her stoically just going, I use these.
All natural products.
now. Skincare. It's logical.
Logical beauty.
It's,
Yes.
I love that.
it's only logical.
Write that down.
See, this is perfect.
T-shirt ideas.
Yeah.
Write that down.
Maybe she's born with it. Yes, she is.
Yes.
Highly probable, yes.
I've analyzed the DNA structure. It confirms.
Right.
Fascinating.
Never tested on targs.
So funny.
Never tested on targets.
Oh my God.
All right.
crying.
Martinez, you walk into your ready room,
Yeah.
trailed by your commander.
Commander, what did you find out?
He does have command privileges. I couldn't find record of who granted them. He appears only to have used them, and they appear only to be confined to those safeties he turned off on the holodeck. But it's really how he got them
I think
that
we
concerns me.
I think we lucked out and got like the chillest Klingon, all things considered.
I think his
But this is still
priorities are
troubling.
not
Yes.
with giving us shit.
Yeah.
Sir.
Yeah, that's true. Commander, you're right. But this is still troubling. Okay. I think
If you get a moment, perhaps with the Admiral in the turbo lift or something. She's the only Federation officer I could conceive of having granted them.
is this something do we have a file on Tolash?
A reasonable enough one, but our dossiers on Klingon commanders are not extensive. We had no reason to gather information.
It's
on them.
true. I just wonder if he has any sort of history of any kind of a hacking expertise. Is this something that he could do on his own? Or is it something that would require this sort of approval from a higher up? Do you know?
If he were proficient enough, there are all manner of things you can do with this ship's computer.
Really?
Indeed.
Okay. All right. I'll try to bring it up to the Admiral. I'll be honest, it's not the highest priority, but I'm planning for this dinner to go longer than maybe a Klingon general would want to stay. So I'll see what I can do. Is there anything else that you wanted to report?
That's all, sir.
Okay. Thank you. Thanks, Commander. See you at dinner.
Aye, sir.
Quick cut down to Talon and Ren.
Yeah, let's finish this. Let's go right back.
Logical beauty.
I imagine it's like the scene from Grease when they're all in the bedroom, just like curling the hair.
Look at me.
The opening scene to Adventures in Babysitting, and you guys are just blasting music and
Yeah.
singing.
If Nala doesn't show up with just a perfect bowl cut, real disappointed. It's just
Mala
not
shows up looking like a
like,
Romulan or a Klingon.
straightened
or a
bowl
Vulcan.
cut. Like,
I look fabulous.
So we'll say that this ritual has been going on for about 20 minutes or so.
Okay.
At minimum.
Mala, you're actually seeing that Vulcan attire is
Yeah.
it's in the same way that like a lot of, I would say, think of it in the same simplistic sort of beautiful in its simplicity. The attire, it's all the geometric shapes of and the cuts of the dresses and the tops and stuff. Well, no, but you're being shown like the wide array of how, because I imagine Talon would use their base experience and then go from there. So
Right.
you're actually seeing like not just dress uniforms, but actual like ritual uniform, like dressing, whatnot, and it's quite beautiful.
Yeah.
There is a mathematical art to everything. The way the Vulcans express themselves is
The way these
through
fabrics
logic
are
and
engineered.
yes, indeed. Rivaling. You're going for the puns tonight.
Only a few.
As Talon is sort of offering you over some of these products that she uses, Talon, Ren is in the middle of saying something, stuttering through a nervous monologue about what it's going to be like not making eye contact with whoever she's sitting across from at the table for the entirety of dinner, and like wondering how to get back.
What does this smell like?
And
Did you smell this?
Talon, her voice begins to fade away for a moment, and you start hearing whispers.
Oh, no.
Indiscernible, hushed whispers. And you feel yourself inadvertently turning and facing the port side, your window that looks out over both Narendra Station and Space Dock. Narendra Station and the expanse of outer space, just outside the hull. And you see, just beyond the horizon, the lower part of the horizon of Narendra Station, you see the black expanse of Shackleton. And Mala's voice comes right back like it was there the whole time. Mala, as you're sitting there carrying on and talking like this, you suddenly feel like you're alone in the room. As a Betazoid, you're aware when someone's standing nearby. You can feel a presence. Talon's not there anymore. It's like she just blinks out of existence. And as you turn and look at her, she's standing right next to you, facing the window, and she's taken a few steps and is staring out the window. And then you feel her presence flood back into the room like just like a light switch, and she's back.
You're using that incorrectly. The green one is the base layer. So you put that on your skin first and rub it in. Do you understand?
Yeah. Sorry, I talk a lot. Was I boring you?
No, you were not boring. Most of it was irrelevant to what we are doing today, but
Right.
I understand that you may be nervous for the Admiral's dinner.
Yeah, just practicing. Guess I'm good at it.
Very well.
Are you okay?
I'm perfectly fine.
Thanks for doing this.
Here's a brush.
Thank you.
All right. We'll go ahead and cut to the dinner.
Up or down?
Trying to help her brush
down.
her hair.
What hairstyle do you settle on? Or are you
I know.
gonna
What
make
did you
us
do?
a-
What did you do to me?
We have to know what hairstyle was it. This is like the Avatar creator of Star Trek Online.
Yeah,
We gotta figure out.
true. I would say, so we brushed it out. What does it normally look like, actually?
Is it curly?
in the
Because aren't we
buns,
brushing
yeah.
the curly
Oh,
hair?
it's in the buns
What do your
usually.
hairs look like?
It's usually in those
I
two
would
buns.
say not quite as curly as this,
Okay.
but like, you know, pretty bushy
wavy.
and sort of wavy, and which is why it's always just secured because it's
gets in your face.
unprofessional.
Oh, okay.
You know, it's
Kind
that
of
whole
like
thing.
Hermione hair.
Okay.
Not quite.
Oh.
Not quite, because Hermione quite.
Well, because you know.
But I would say just normal.
But like Troy-ish.
What's that? Yeah, exactly.
Troyish, okay.
Troyish.
Okay.
Just sort of big, lots of hair.
Maybe
You
we
just
just
swear
She
she was
doesn't look
Italian
Troyish.
and Irish.
Yeah, I'm bringing out the Mel Brooks references today. All right.
yeah, maybe it's just like we do like a couple of layers of rolls going backwards, and it looks
Ooh.
kind of like almost, I guess, like 18th century, weirdly, but not, but like futuristic.
Okay.
Yeah, it's very pretty. It's like
Yes.
these rolls going backwards.
Yes,
Okay.
So as you are all assembling in Transporter Room 1 for the beam up,
Into it.
for the beam up, you see Mala come walking in, looking quite lovely. As all the officers line up, I'm assuming y'all are in your dress uniforms, since flag officers beaming on board.
She's standing up far too straight.
Yeah, same. I'm really uncomfortable. I've never worn mine before, except for on
What dress
graduation.
uniforms do we have? Are they the white ones? Which one? What are we wearing?
We looked this up last
There's like
week.
different ones.
It's in this year it should be the Type D, which are really like the shortest variant. I like the 2360s one much better, where
I
you
do
get
too.
like the nice
Yeah.
tunic.
I do too. I like the tunic
I think those are way
Can we
cooler.
just do those?
So
Yeah.
if we just headcanon on
Let's
that,
do
I'm
tunic
down for like the
uniform.
Type B.
One of the
Yeah.
things that I love about Star Trek Online is like they rationalize that everyone's crew looks different because they passed a uniform code in Starfleet. That so long as you're in a recognizable Starfleet attire, you can wear any version or variety of Starfleet uniform you want. So
Great.
I love that. Not that we're doing that here, but I'm just saying, So we're gonna, in that spirit. So yeah, y'all are in your tunic uniforms then. Beaming on board. You see as the energy beam energizes, and you see, yes indeed, there is Talosh beaming on. You see Admiral April Herbert, also in dress uniform with one of her assistants by her side, Commander, the XO of the station. She's also accompanied by Dr. Helena Telefaro, who is a civilian head scientist.
What was her name again? Dr. Helena.
Taliaferro.
Tagliaferro, like
Kinda,
Italian.
With an accent.
And you sense the moment she arrives, Mala, she is Banezoid. The moment she arrives, you can sense it as she beams onto the pad. She is a civilian scientist. She is the head scientist, in fact, on Narendra Station. And you see General Kargan.
Anybody with him?
Nope, not just Tolosh. And when everyone arrives, as they step off the transporter pad, the commander stays behind and gives a nod to the admiral, and she says, "Thank you, Commander. I'll see you this evening." He says, "Ma'am," and he energizes back to the station. A bit unusual.
What's usual?
Well, it's unusual to beam over and then beam immediately back. It's a bit unusual.
Oh, I get it. I read this in a Star Trek comic once. You see, what he was afraid of was that she would accidentally get beamed somewhere else, and then they would beam up a replicated, like a duplicate body of hers with a knife in the back, and they're like,
Oh my
how
gosh.
did you
You're
get
freaking out,
stabbed
Eliza. You're
mid-transport?"
freaking out, Eliza, Hector.
It was pretty cool. It was pretty cool.
No thanks.
It didn't happen.
Yeah, because we're proud.
The admiral steps off the transporter pad and says, "Permission to come aboard, Captain."
Permission granted. Welcome aboard, Admiral. General.
Thank you, Captain.
Doctor.
General steps down with heavy footsteps. He too is in dress uniform. The Klingon dress uniform is quite impressive. As a general, he is wearing what looks like tufts of fur coming off of shoulder plates on his broad shoulders, also with a bandolier slung over his chest, denoting his rank and all of his battle merits. The symbol of his house, the symbol of the Klingon Defense Force. He is bulked up with, it's almost, I don't want to say it's like a cape or a trench coat, but it is a long coat basically that drapes down to the mid part of his thigh. Awesome. And he has a large metal pair of spikes sticking straight up out of both boots that are knee high. He is in full Klingon regalia. Fingerless gloves with like the claws arcing off the knuckles. And he has
fabulous.
his weapons on him because a Klingon general. Yeah, he is everywhere. And Tolosh looks exactly like he did when you last saw him.
Just a little bit
Drier.
Much drier. Very visible healing though taking place on him. It looks like just by the way he moves, Doctor, you can tell his left shoulder's a little stiff still from taking a deep gouging knife wound from Jim Hadar at close range. Yeah, Rue, upon seeing Tolosh step off the transporter pad, you feel a few aches come up in your ribs where you're remembering that hell of a workout you got from his training program. Before the general even has a chance to step forward and say anything, Tolosh steps forward right up into your face, Rue, and just says, "I heard you finished off my training program. Did you find it acceptable?"
I could use a bit more of a challenge.
Good. The next time you run it, give them access to their ranged weapons.
Perhaps we should run it together, Commander.
I would look forward to that. Kargan steps forward and says, "General Kargan, as you well know, this is your crew."
Yes. We. I believe that there's a good amount of us that have been sort of granted shore leave while we are hosting you for this dinner, but you're more than welcome aboard. So it's not not quite the entire crew, but yes.
He leans back. Tolosh says, "Thank you, Captain." The Admiral says, "Well, lead the way."
Right, yes. If you would please follow me right this way. We are heading to a dining quarter. Actually our normal dining room, it's undergoing a bit of a refit, so we'll just be in a little bit smaller of a room, but please come with me right this way and we'll get started on the dinner serving. So, please.
Okay. I love that moment in Star Trek VI, The Undiscovered Country, where Chekhov just goes, "Guess who's coming to dinner?" I love that moment. Chekhov has some of my favorite moments in Star Trek. All right. By the way, real quick side note as we jump into the dinner scene, if you haven't gotten a chance to check it out yet, go look at the Nerdist cut that Nerdist did. I was here when he was working on that. He worked on that nonstop.
Yeah.
And he
Talking about Matt Caron?
Nerdist pound together a Quentin Tarantino cut of Star Trek, and it's brilliant. I highly recommend it.
Matt
They
watched
had some help, right?
almost every...
Yes, I helped work on it.
Good.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Thank you for that. Yeah, he's got every single episode. He had to comb through every episode of Star Trek to find the clips that he wanted.
I think
for that.
he saw all but like 5 or 6 episodes of the original series,
Yep.
in like a long winter or Thanksgiving break. I forget.
Yeah.
Like he was just powering through it.
Yeah. He was like
And
he's
saw him
like,
afterwards. It's just like.
I know. I was like, man, don't get me wrong, it's in my blood, but I don't know. That's rough. That's a lot of sitting down and watching TV.
Yeah.
Okay, we will cut to a scene. You guys are basically in the dining room, or rather this ready room that's been converted into the dining hall for the brass.
It
so to
is really
speak.
cramped.
I asked for that.
Yeah.
I asked for that specifically. The chairs aren't the most comfortable.
Food has been served.
Oh, I
Klingon
see.
fare is out on the table. The Admiral, there's clinking of the glasses and whatnot as blood wine is being poured, as well as
Ooh.
regular earth wine.
Can I
also
reach
being
for a
poured.
glass of the blood wine?
Sure. When you reach for the glass, Tolosh immediately grabs the pitcher and starts filling it for you. And he fills it to the brim.
Oh my gosh, that's not a good idea.
And he sets it down.
I kind of
grinning.
shoot Ensign Sage a look that's kind of like,
I pass it to
With the blood wine.
Tolosh.
I'm normally about having a good time, but be boring.
I
I want
know.
everyone to be boring.
You've never seen Lark
boring.
Sage drunk? She could be boring as hell. I'm just gonna
no way,
pass it to Tolosh
Doubt
because
that,
I
yeah.
know that look from the captain. One day I'm gonna get to try blood wine. One day.
Tolosh takes it roughly, spilling a large portion of the, sloshes onto the table. And of course, being used to dining in a Klingon hall, pays it absolutely no mind and begins to down it right there at the table. Looks like the Admiral is about to open her mouth to start some conversation when Kargan says, "So I hear you encountered Romulans, Captain. Tell me more of this encounter."
Oh, you must be referring to the events that took place on
The
Strithia.
debriefing. If I remember correctly, I mocked you for surviving.
Yes.
And what happened on the surface of this planet?
It was actually under the surface. If you
Under
consider
the
the top of a layer of the ocean, the surface, the Romulans were there doing something. We didn't quite get the intel that we would hoped, but suffice it to say, they were putting some Strithians in danger, and we had to evacuate them to the best of our ability. So.
Tolosh cuts in and says, "Typical of Romulans. Never truly understand their motives until it's too late. Or you kill them before you're able to find out."
Thankfully, Tolosh was a big help in the recovery efforts, and unfortunately, or I would say fortunately on the Starfleet side, he lived to tell the tale.
Yes.
I'm sure he wanted to get his hands on some of those Romulans, but unfortunately they beamed out, cowards that they were, so.
"You were on that away mission, were you not, Commander?" And Tolosh says, "You've read the reports, General. You know I was. And yet you too survived. I'm curious. Was there not a Romulan away team also down on that station?"
There was, General, there was, and before any of the real fighting could begin, they beamed out of there, went back to their ship, and left the system.
Is
For what
that
reasons, we're not sure.
so? And he looks over at Tolash. And Tolash, if you want to make a roll to see exactly what's going on, but his jaw is clenched right now. And he's not looking at the general.
Tolash was unable to engage the Romulans because I asked for his help with our mission, and it means a great deal to me that he chose that, and that prevented him from engaging with the Romulans, didn't it?
So, Kargan leans over and looks at Tolash. What the doctor is saying is that you ran from battle. Is that correct, Commander? And Tolash slams his fist down on the table and turns and looks and says, You instructed me. I was under orders to follow the crew. As the crew ran, I followed orders with them, General.
And correct me if I'm wrong, Commander Tolash, but there wasn't even a battle because of the layout of the facility down there, correct? You actually did not meet face-to-face any Romulans, is that correct?
That is correct.
Because I'm sure that if you did, they would have died. And like I told Tolash when he came back on the ship, I'd rather the Klingons back at Starbase 364 be mad with me that you're alive than be furious with me that you're dead. So...
You see Tolash, he kind of grins a little bit, and Kargan looks a little incredulous. I'm going to have you make this is what you do, Captain. I'm going to have you make this is going to be a roll. So go ahead and make this is going to be Presence Command.
Okay.
This is kind of what you do. It's going to be a roll-off. Awesome. Difficulty is 1.
Okay.
Yeah,
Difficulty is 1. Go ahead and make a roll.
Yeah.
I'm going to be a jerk and spend a point of threat to add a die to this.
Oh, is it a contested?
It is a contested roll. The difficulty is 1.
Yeah, I'll grab that. Thank you very much.
You're
Okay.
definitely getting the sense that Kargan is trying to set something up to shame Tolash right now at the dinner table.
Yeah.
That was a reaction.
What'd you get? Call. What'd you get? I got 4. You got 4?
Yeah.
I got a 17 and 20 and an 8.
Just gonna put this back up there.
So, based off of that complication on his behalf, you see Kargan, he seems to relent, and Tolash says, Perhaps it is good that you have such a loyal officer that will follow your orders instead of thinking of his own personal glory. Wouldn't you say that, General? And Kargan seems a little speechless, and he kind of looks over at his commander and says, and an awkward silence falls on the table as you have successfully shut him the hell up.
That reminds me, I actually underwent a very fascinating holoprogram the other day. I don't know if I had a chance to talk about it yet. It was based on the study of plants on Earth, and it was incredible. It had some of the most advanced visuals that I've seen in a program recently.
GM interjection. Is this you role-playing a boring evening?
Yeah.
Then for the sake of our audience,
Even though Mom was there, I'm like, wait, what?
welcome to Shield of Tomorrow.
We do.
Tonight will be the most boring night of your life.
We are filibustering the Klingons and you cannot stop us.
Yeah, I have an entire PowerPoint on cream soda and the Admiral for their
All right.
program.
There was an old Earth scientist.
their replicators.
I tell you what,
Jim,
Attenborough. Wow, what
Yes.
was his first name?
yeah.
Oh, goodness.
can I
Soothing voice.
just inject one piece of
Yeah.
Throllo's internal of
Absolutely.
what just happened?
Yeah.
Which it's not gonna super come up tonight, but Throllo's a little bit off right now, and she's trying really hard to hide it. So she's just half a beat behind on a bunch of stuff, and so I'm playing that.
Plants?
I did actually nearly fall into that, but I'm playing that Throllo heard what was going on, tried to step in, sees that she almost made it way worse for Tolash, and is gonna just wallflower even harder. That's what the rest of the evening. Okay. that's it.
yeah.
I just wanted to put that on record.
Ren totally sympathizes with this strategy.
I give a very powerful, 37-minute speech on cream soda. Welcome, Captain.
To give you guys some dynamics of what happens during dinner, it is a very,
Yes.
the dinner feels very
carbonation.
stilted. It feels very there's a lot of tension not being released at the table. You're essentially, I mean, you're dining with enemies. You're at war with the people you're at table with. The Admiral is very cordial, very professional. Much like she has the opposite end of the spectrum, but it still has that sort of presence that you have, Captain. She doesn't have that casual charm that kind of puts people at ease. Instead, she exudes this sort of silent authority figure, this sort of unquestionable integrity that's at the table as she's just sitting there politely listening to everybody. Dr. Taliaferro is also keeping quiet, but she's doing nothing to hide. She's, you being an empath, you're fully aware. Plus, you can actually, you get more of a sense from her than you do most, having that channel open. Now, since you're not directly familiar with her, you can't speak telepathically. However, you are getting, because empathic betazoids can actually have telepathic conversations if they're connected to.
Yeah.
You are getting what you get from her, without even having to make a roll, is that she is fully aware that she is the most intelligent person in the room. And she is looking down on this whole endeavor. She believes this entire dinner is beneath her.
Well, I'm having a pleasant time.
You're getting this haughty, her, this is the most irrelevant thing she's ever had to do.
But did she enjoy my 7-glass taste test that I presented to the Admiral and her?
You'll have to ask Rick.
Okay.
Did she, Ren?
She did it.
Did she? I didn't think so. She didn't like the third option.
Dinner lasts about an hour. And Tolash, it's very difficult to keep things boring because Tolash will interject the most raunchy and sometimes inappropriate comments having to do with either sex or battle or combat or any.
Challenge
clearly
accepted. We are bumping up the prude. And every time he does that, I'm like, oh boy, I don't know about that.
It seems like he has that mechanism where if things are uncomfortable or if they're kind of one note, he has to slip something stupid into the conversation. I'm describing myself right now.
We're all Tolash.
We all know your secret.
We are
Klingon.
Tolash.
We are Tolash.
Our fellow ADD people, just represent. We got it. We got it. We're trying to keep things serious. That's There's another one.
Yes.
As dinner's beginning to wrap up, the desserts are handed out. Some people, forego dessert and whatnot. The Klingons look like they're ready to leave. Tolash stands up and says, "Before I leave, let us set a day where you and I can have our appointment with death. Assuming you are all right with removing safety protocols from your holodeck." Admiral immediately says, "I'm sorry, Commander Tolash, but I will not allow my commander to be put in front of a hologram that does not have safety protocols. I'm fine with intense training, but I'm not going to risk valuable Starfleet personnel on a game." I cannot argue with that. Particularly because you're an admiral, but also because she is right. Very well, safety protocols, but I'll still make sure it hurts. Are you game, Commander?
I'm game.
Then I will contact you tomorrow.
I look forward to it.
Kargan stands up and says, "It is time for us to leave, Admiral."
I stand up as well. We all stand up.
Yeah, everyone just kind of the most quiet person at the table, even more so than the doctor. Can you guess who it was? Less animated and more quiet than you.
Oh!
Shiv?
That would be
Jiv?
one
Yep.
Lieutenant Commander
I was
Jiv,
wondering a lot about
who
that.
has noticeably.
Has he been sitting next to me?
Yes, he has been. It's nothing that they would notice. Y'all notice it. Jiv is stone-faced, dead quiet, contributes nothing, eats his food, does the occasional polite nod, and keeps his eyes at the table.
Oh, not
The
my
entire.
Anytime I feel his levels spike whenever they would speak, just a small
I'll give you this.
hand.
You actually feel, and I'll leave it to you, Mala, whether you
Okay.
think this is a good idea to ever bring up,
Okay.
but buried deep down inside, Jiv kind of likes Tolosh.
I already knew that.
Who doesn't like Tolosh?
Okay.
Who doesn't?
Yeah.
Who doesn't like Tolosh?
Kind of suppressing.
Okay.
Every time Tolosh said something crude, Jiv kind of got a kick out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Stupid, sexy Klingon.
Yeah. No one can
Kind of
resist
got
Tolosh.
like the dude bro thing going on inside of Jiv that's sort of inappropriate, but it's for a Tellarite. So like every time there is a moment of inappropriateness or like something that would be culturally offensive to the other races at the table, Jiv got a kick. That Tellarite side of him that thrives on insults, that Tellarites, because it's part of their culture, there's that sense of familiarity that he feels with Tolosh. Kargan, though, every time Kargan opened his mouth, he felt a spike.
Yeah.
I think we all spiked a little bit.
We gotta find out if Tolosh has a sister for Jiv. No.
What a couple that was.
Hey,
What's wrong with Tolosh?
no one ever specified he needed a sister.
Didn't Jiv say earlier that he
never married,
He
he
never
said.
met. Oh, he
Never
didn't say like I never found a wife. I
Yeah.
thought he said
Oh,
wife.
okay.
He didn't really specify what his orientation is, but he has kind of hinted that
think
he
he said
has kind of
wife.
hinted that that's his orientation.
I think.
That's
Yeah, I
a
think so,
non-exclusive preference.
It's totally true. So
just as command staff.
it's very true. So cutting to the end of this scene, go ahead and take one momentum away. I'm going to go ahead and rule that the crew of the Sally Ride has successfully navigated a very awkward dinner.
It's a milestone for us, right? We leveled up, everybody. We did dinner.
You can only take points in boring.
The Klingons begin to get on the transporter pad, and the Admiral turns and says, well, thank you for hosting. It was a pleasure to see the inside of an Intrepid-class starship, Captain. I've only ever seen them on schematics, and of course...
If you have the time, Admiral, I'd be happy to give you a tour. I mean, it's, like I said earlier, not all the crew is here. It's a bit of off hours, but if you've got 20 minutes...
She's about to open her mouth, and the General says, unfortunately, where the Admiral goes, I go, and we have both agreed that...
General, you wouldn't like a tour? either?
You see him his jaw clench for a second, and he says, no.
Okay,
As
well,
per agreement with your Admiral, we both concur that for the sake of keeping things peaceful, I should not be permitted to roam the more sensitive areas of a Starfleet vessel,
all right, well,
which I have agreed to.
you're always welcome aboard the USS Sally Ride, General. Let me know if you wanted to have dinner again while we're still here, Doc.
Thank you. He steps up onto the transporter pad and nods to the Admiral like he's telling her to get on the pad. She nods and says, thank you again, Captain. Also, Commander, it's come to my attention that you like to hold staff meetings with paper and pencil. Is that correct?
Aye, sir.
I wrote you something. Accommodation to you and your crew, Captain. It's personal, so I would ask that you don't read it out loud, if that is acceptable, General. The General stares at her for a second, and we're going to have a roll-off.
Oh.
Between NPCs.
Whoa.
I am actually going to request, may I please spend one of your momentum
Yes,
for the
yes,
Admiral?
yes.
Okay.
Sorry, what?
Yes, please do.
For the Admiral.
You just want
For the Admiral.
General, the Admiral, please.
Here comes the General.
Yep.
Rise up.
All the General references.
Okay. The General says, fine. Nods. And says, thank you. This is a thank you letter to your crew. I know you were all expecting to find some relaxation when you arrived at Narendra. I know everybody was looking forward to at least having some shore leave, perhaps, after your harrowing journey through Klingon space. If you could please accept this and extend my gratitude for the crew and having to go above and beyond the call of duty. I know you're a science vessel and you've been put in a very awkward situation out here in Shackleton, but I'm hoping that one day, somehow, the Klingon Empire and the Federation will be friends again, and the Sally Ride can once again resume the mission that she was made for, that the pursuit of truth and science. And she offers it to you.
I imagine the Klingon is just rolling his eyes that entire time.
He looks very impatient. They step up onto the transporter pad, and a few moments later...
Oh, actually, before you take off, I'm so sorry, I forgot. Admiral, speaking of putting us in sort of an awkward position, I recall that we had wanted to put in a request to maybe set up some sort of a warning system in case the Romulans were to ever show their face again near Strethia. I don't know if, Admiral, would that be all right to put in that sort of formal request, Admiral, at a later time?
Yes, Captain, I'd be happy to discuss that with you.
Okay, great.
Good night. They beam off the ship, and a few moments pass, and everybody on the transporter pad is gone. As they beam away, you find Commander Rue standing next to you with the note open.
Well, we're going on a field trip. Should I just read it out loud for our dear audience?
Read it out loud. Read it out
Wait,
loud.
who's there? Are we? It's all senior staff still there?
It's only no. There is an ensign that would probably need to be dismissed at the transporter controls.
I look at the ensign.
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir.
Just give us a minute. Thank you, Ensign.
Ensign leaves immediately. You are all alone on the transporter pad.
There we are.
So what did Herbert give us?
Classified orders, sir.
Well, it's convenient that we're all here.
I think it's more than convenience. She seems on top of it. The USS Sally Ride is to proceed immediately to Cuvium Prime in the Cuvium system. Maximum warp is authorized. Secret Federation assets at risk in the system. Starbase 364 at risk if assets are discovered. We are to intercept and destroy a Klingon Defense Force vessel believed to be operating in the system. Those Federation assets in the area are under communication silence order. We are authorized to order the assets to assist, but use of Federation assets is a last resort option, and we must protect secrecy of assets at all costs.
There's a solid beat, and Jiv just looks at you and goes, "Told you." Captain, the Sally Ride is winded. I'm not saying...
I know.
As does she, and yet these are the orders.
She's sending us to war.
Captain, this is a scientific vessel. We are not equipped for stealth missions.
Does it say anything about what kind of Klingon vessel it is?
No, unfortunately, but we wouldn't be sent on something we absolutely could not do, and we are most likely tactically superior to both the Excelsior and, the Nebula class who are here? We're the only option.
And we have orders to destroy.
Yes. We are at war.
We can't be the only option. We can barely go to warp, sir.
Captain, if we tax Sally's warp core at maximum warp, I can't guarantee she's going to have the power output you need to take her into a fight when we get there. And if she does, I mean, Mala and I can work on that, but if she does, it's going to be a juggling act to make sure she keeps fit while we're in the middle of a fight.
Captain, before we go, if they need an extra hand, I can pop down there, and I know Lynn Zadis would be more than happy to lend a hand as well. He's more than qualified to help.
What are our options right now?
I mean, to be honest,
keeping the engines afloat, what are our options?
To be honest, Captain, we need to go. It's not a matter of if. Obviously, we're going, so you and I need to get to engineering right now.
Are we going?
Yeah.
Is that...
We're going, Doctor.
That was an order from the Admiralty.
We have no choice.
I don't remember attending Assassination Academy.
It's not assassination if you're at war, Doctor. We're protecting Federation lives who are out there and, by all accounts, in danger.
Secret Federation assets? What does that even mean?
Commander, can we risk summoning the rest of the crew that are down on shore leave?
I certainly wouldn't want to leave them behind, and
We'll do it discreetly.
either way, they're going to notice that we leave.
All right, put out the call discreetly. Get everybody back on board. Within the hour, we're leaving.
Hour?
We need to get to engineering.
Mala just starts taking her pen hair out.
Thanks, Talon.
Permission to be dismissed, sir.
Granted.
Jiv at a very quick pace.
Ensign, if you want to grab Zadis and head down there too.
Yes, Captain.
Sir, I think I'll need to talk to Sage quickly before I send her down.
Sure. All right. Doc, be where you need to be. Lieutenant Commander, join me on the bridge.
Yes, sir.
All right. I'm gonna figure out what the hell we're gonna do.
We have to pause there because it's break time. So we're gonna. It's a few minutes early. USS Sally Ride has been given orders to seek and destroy Klingon Defense Force vessel.
Jesus Christ.
In many ways,
Red alert!
some of us knew that this day was coming.
Yeah, what up?
So we will.
Having such a nice day.
I wish Thorla were not in her own head right now because she would have told you how nice you look.
Oh, thanks.
Aww.
You could. By the way, I tried to get the pin curls out. There's so many pins in it. How does it come out?
You find them like 4 days later. It's awful.
Okay, so we will be back here in 10 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Stay tuned because it's about to get bumpy. We'll see you back in 10 minutes. Welcome back to Shield of Tomorrow as Sam finishes threatening me once again. It's like every time we come back on air, Sam's got to threaten me somehow.
Something's got to put you back in
it's
the
a
mode.
death threat or it's a career
Eric,
threat.
You're the one
Some
with the
kind of
threat pool.
Threat. Clearly not. Clearly not. Clearly the waters of this threat pool come from the well of Sam Delev.
The momentum is swinging the other way now.
Let's see.
Oh.
Damn it. Okay,
I hate
so
this.
Give me a shot.
I hate this.
Which part do you hate, Hector?
I hate this.
Tell us.
I hate being on this ship. I hate these orders. I hate that we're gonna have to go do this. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it.
Do tell us how you really feel.
I was gonna say tonight I'm behind the shield.
Hector.
So mad.
Swimming in a well of
Rafael
hate.
Martinez. This is the most negative
Yes,
you've
coming back
ever
from break.
been.
The USS Sally Ride has been ordered to intercept and destroy a Klingon vessel. Since you are at war,
Sucks. It does.
you have been ordered to battle. You can only
Saving Federation lives. God, that sucks.
you can only assume that
I'm a scientist.
you can only assume that the reason why the Admiral would send the Sally Ride to do this is probably because she had no other option. And you're kind of getting the sense now as these orders have been settling in on you that she was speaking directly to you when she was explaining, I look forward to the day where the Sally Ride can resume what she is meant to
It
be.
was. I'm sorry for what I'm about to hand you.
Essentially,
I truly am sorry.
Captain, that's what you're getting. You're
And what a
getting
gamble
that
that she tried to bluff
Wow.
that general.
That could've
she
been-
He could've
successfully
grabbed
bluffed
that.
the shit out of that
If
general.
he grabbed that,
And read it?
we would
Oh.
have been arrested.
We would have all been killed, probably.
It would have been if she had failed. She was that was as the episode was once called. That was a hard six. That was like making sure that was a gamble that she had to take.
That's the
But
real
you were also
science
getting a
of
good
destruction.
view of how scrutinized she is in every move that she makes.
Yeah.
Because her Federation escort left her and the Klingon escort resumed. So you're getting a really good picture of what her limitations are as the Admiral of Narendra Station under the Klingon flag. It's clear that the General is calling the shots right now. But that's the trade-off. And she still gets to resume fleet operations. But you're absolutely right, Hector. If she had
sucks.
gotten caught, there's a good chance the General would have pulled the disruptor and started killing. It would have killed her and then opened fire on all of you. And then when the General inevitably died, being outnumbered, Narendra Station would have become a bloodbath. It was a risk, and that's why I asked for momentum.
Like,
Because
given
I was
that-
really I was gonna let the game take whatever course it took.
Wow.
I was gonna see which direction the story went in.
Boy.
No.
Wow.
So,
But thank you for
but-
using our momentum.
Yeah, no problem.
Given that apparently Starbase 364 is at risk if we don't complete this
Yeah.
mission, it's a risk worth taking for her.
Yeah. Let's
Yes,
see if our warp
so-
core explodes.
There's not going to be anything in the database to describe any secret Federation assets out there. However, if there are any secret Federation assets that she's describing out there that are unlisted, if they are discovered and it tips the balance in the Federation's favor, then Narendra Station will become a bloodbath. If at any point it feels like somebody's gaining the upper hand, then the battle for Narendra Station will begin.
If we leave
Can I
without
see that
Talash,
letter?
isn't that
What?
bad?
Without Talash?
We'll get to that in a second. What would you
Oh.
want to say?
How do you spell Kubium?
Oh,
Kuviam.
Thank you.
Kubium.
I was close.
Kubium Prime. At warp 7, it is 4 days, 10 hours, 49 minutes, 47 seconds away.
So about
How many
12 light
days?
years, give or take?
At warp 7, it's 4 days, 10 hours.
Oh, no.
At warp 9.975, it is 22
2/3,
hours,
8 light
49
years.
minutes, 47 seconds.
Get working on that.
But the
core.
Streethians. Okay.
At maximum warp, you're 22 hours away.
We can't maximum warp.
Yeah, we can. We
Yeah,
can
you
do
can.
it.
Yeah,
I want to save some power for those phasers.
Now, I will go ahead and tell you guys one thing. When new scenes begin, your power supply completely replenishes.
Yeah.
That's good.
So when you arrive on the scene, Sally Ride will be up to full. She'll have full. But I kind of warned you about this before. Going to warp, if you guys decide to run, or if you have to do anything like that, it's going to cost you double right now. I'm now that's only when coming. Now technically, the phasers do draw power from the engines, but right now it's propulsion that's the problem. So phasers are not going to draw extra power, is what Jiv and Ren would probably end up telling you guys. And I just, as a GM, because I'm sending y'all into battle, I'm going to give you this without a roll. Using the phasers is not going to cost you extra power. It's going to be 1 for 1 as usual. However, I am making a new. I haven't been able to find clarification on this rule, and after observing some of the Star Trek episodes, I am ruling that the area quality does not allow you to attack the same target multiple times from here on out. So before, if you used an area of effect, it would be you're using your multiple shots to hit the same target. But in this case, like we haven't really been able to, we haven't used it to that advantage yet. But it's not really. I haven't.
We could just use spread for that.
Yeah, you can use spread for that on your torpedoes. But phaser strike, an area attack, is going to be, it has to be multiple.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Phasers have both area and spread. And I've been trying to call them separately.
Okay, no. I'm just saying that we can't, just moving forward, just to make that clarification. Because, again, going into battle first time for a big fight. So,
Appreciate it.
yeah.
I will take note when shooting things.
When shooting things. Now, you said the Sally Ride's phasers have versatile and what was the other one?
They have a versatile quality, and their damage effects are area and spread.
Okay. And I believe you guys purchased that, is that correct?
That is a characteristic of phaser arrays.
The phaser array itself has that.
Yes.
Okay, cool. And I think that's a trade-off because the phaser array does the least amount of damage outright.
Phaser banks do an extra +1 damage, and we don't have those. We have arrays instead.
There's cannons, arrays, banks, and you guys have banks.
Yeah.
Or arrays, rather. You guys have arrays.
Yeah.
So phaser array is the least, but also one of the most accurate and most versatile.
Yeah, they get us momentum on every successful shot, which is lovely.
Yeah. Okay. So that's what you're up against. You don't know what ship is waiting for you out there, but they clearly don't know you're coming, at least if the orders to be believed. The general didn't seem to be privy to anything that's happening. The crew is being called back to the Sally Ride. I am going to ask you what you intend to do about Tolosh, who just left the ship about an hour ago now, as y'all are getting ready to get underway.
So where is everybody right now? Where is senior staff?
Well, I'm guessing senior staff is assembling on the bridge. By the way, real quick for you, Mala,
Yeah.
this is something I've been in preparation for this.
Yeah.
If you are in main engineering, you have a reduced difficulty of your difficulty on your engineering repair checks and all that's reduced by 1.
Oh, okay.
So if you're on the bridge, it's actually more difficult
yeah,
to keep.
I was planning on asking permission to stay in
Yeah,
down.
in main engineering, you can coordinate. You'll be able to in this case, it's better for Jiv to coordinate damage control teams.
Okay.
And you will be used for power, shield regeneration, and so on. And that would be you're going to be at reduced difficulty if you do it from main engineering.
Okay.
Yes, Talon.
I have something that I've been wanting to ask the captain if we could do, and now it's not really possible. Except, what I want to do is I'll just start the scene.
Well, real quick before
Okay.
we start that scene, because where
Okay.
we left off is Sage and Rue are about to have a chat.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well,
then
now that
would
I
like
know
to-
the amount of time we'll spend en route, I could conceivably do it en route.
Totally. Yeah.
I said that because I wasn't quite sure how far away Kuvium
right.
is. and
Yeah. I
wanted
didn't
to
give you
make
guys
sure
the
I got
distance yet.
Indeed.
Okay. Cool. All right.
I'm happy to do it en route.
we'll do that then.
So
So permission to go down and help an engineering
Yep.
commander? Thank you.
Okay.
All right.
I grab Zadis.
Scoot.
I'm grabbing
Stop
Zadis.
at his quarters. All right, real quick. So you go to Zadis's quarters. He answers the door and says, "Hey."
Hey.
Wow.
I wish we could hang and stuff. I know we were gonna like hang out and all that, but we kind of need you down in engineering if you don't mind lending an extra hand.
Yeah, what's going on?
We got like
What's up?
super secret orders. We're like going now, and we gotta go maximum warp and war and Klingons. It was really.
Wait. What?
Commander Rue read a letter.
Wait.
The Admiral gave us a secret command.
Wait, this is classified.
No, is it?
Wait.
But we're about to go.
Hold on.
Zadis is a civilian.
Oh.
We just shared.
Oh crap!
Top
All right,
secret information.
retract everything I said.
no,
We need your help.
It
I don't think so.
No, absolutely not.
Absolutely not.
It's
Okay.
fine,
That's
Sage. It's
canon.
fine.
It's fine. Zadis knows everything.
Pull the
You were
shit
marking
aside.
it up right
Yeah.
now.
Zadis, we gotta
They really
go.
do.
Zadis goes,
need
wait,
your help.
wait, hold on. Backtrack to where you said Klingon war immediately.
Maximum warp. We gotta go. We need you down in engineering
For what?
so I can fly.
What are you not telling me?
Oh my God, Zadis, just go.
Just go. Maybe I'll tell you on the way. Maybe. Can you? We just need your help. Chief Friend.
Go ahead and
He's
make
gonna have
a-
a lot to do down there.
Go ahead and make a presence.
Oh.
Nice.
Make a presence command roll.
Nice.
Okay.
Yeah.
So great.
They always end well.
Yeah.
I'm
Let
so
me-
presentable.
Wow, I haven't pulled out Zadis' stats in this spell.
Yeah, I mean, I
That's
want to
not the
pull
first
a
stat.
momentum, but I don't think.
Go ahead.
Okay.
Where are
Go
your
for it,
stats,
yeah.
Zadis? Here we go.
Can I use a
not gonna
focus?
have
I'm just kidding.
Difficulties 1.
You still have charming?
Hey!
Oh.
Whoa! 3 successes.
Okay, well.
What's the difficulty?
1.
Difficulties 1, and you have to beat him, which you did.
Oh,
He goes,
I am being so convincing right now. Just come on, let's go.
all right, 1 sec. And he goes and grabs his brand new engineering tool set and steps out and goes, okay, yeah, let's do this.
Where'd he get that tool set?
I believe it was a gift
From who?
from, was that, I don't, like a redheaded Bajoran?
It was his birthday.
Yeah, keep going on about it. Let's go.
I know one person who.
It was his birthday, then he was dead, then he wasn't dead. I wanted to give him a present. Let's go!
All right, so a few moments pass. Mala, you and Jiv are sweating bullets down there trying to get the Sally up and ready. She's got to be ready to go soon.
I forgot to take my dress robes off. I'm still in them.
That's fine. Okay.
You look great.
Jiv is, everyone's coordinating with you. Jiv is just now finishing telling you, as you guys round the corner, I'm going to spend a point of threat.
Oh.
So
what?
you guys round the corner, and Zadis rounds the corner with you just in time to hear Jiv saying, I'm going to coordinate the damage control teams and minimize the casualties that we're going to be getting down here in engineering, all right? I want you to stay on top of this. You're going to be taking care of everything in here. You know
I'll be
how
on
to
top
do
of the warp core. I'll be on top of. I already put the systems, the fail safes. I mean, I don't know what's gonna go first, but hopefully that'll buy us some time to get our teams.
Chief, Zadis and I are here to help if you need it.
We're gonna need it.
Zadis stares at you and says, he takes a couple of steps back and says, no. And he turns and walks quickly out of engineering.
Bonnie, how about you go find her? Bonnie?
Yes?
Outtake.
Getting too real.
Who's Bonnie? Ensign Bonnie.
Bonnie, she said.
She owes me money.
All right,
Not
so-
you, Lark.
Yeah.
The one behind you.
So Zadis turns and leaves.
Fuck.
Maybe you should go find out what's wrong. He probably needs someone.
I mean, I should, but don't you guys need help? I mean, we're not gonna get.
Jiv just
out of-
pipes up suddenly and says, whatever you're doing, please do it fast. Minutes could literally mean lives right now.
Okay, I'll go talk to him.
Thank you.
I'll race after him.
You catch him just as he's stepping into the turbo lift.
Okay.
And he presses the button as he sees you coming. And you
Gonna-
slip between the doors.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Like ninja style, but very awkwardly ninja style. I'll probably get hit with it a little bit.
Okay.
And then
He just goes, transporter room.
transporter room.
Oh no.
He just stares at you. I'm not Starfleet, Sage.
Okay, then you can just hang out on the ship and...
Yeah. Great. And when a hull breach happens, I'll just... What? Drink cream soda as I get sucked into the vacuum of space.
Well, with that kind of thinking, yeah. No, I'm just saying, like... what, so you're gonna go on the starbase and just... and sit in a corner, being surrounded by Klingons at the brink of a war? Like, no matter... There is no safe place right now, Zadis. The safest place is with people that care about you.
Sage, I spent a year doing this.
Then don't do it. Then
I'm
don't
leaving.
do it.
I'm not doing it. I'm out. I'm sorry. No. I'm never doing this again. And I'm not Starfleet, so I don't have to. And I would just get in your way. I can't. I cannot do this again. You don't know half of the things that I saw. Or half of the people that I saw die and how they died. I can't. You see, his hands begins to shake and he kind of leans against the bulkhead and he says, I can't. Please get out of the elevator. Please get out of the turbo lift.
Can I stop at the turbo lift? Computer, stop turbo lift.
It's not moving while you're standing in the doorway.
Oh, I thought I got in.
No, I just thought you stopped at the door.
No, I got in with him.
Oh, okay. The turbo
I'm
lift
just gonna stop it.
Okay, you stop the turbo lift.
Just take some deep breaths and really think this through. If you're stuck here on that starbase, you're gonna be away from all the people that you care about, that care about you.
I don't want to see anything happen to any of you.
Same.
Sage. No.
What do you think's gonna be out there on the starbase? The
No.
Klingons are about to...
Get out of my
Fight.
way. And he presses the button again and starts up the turbo lift. And a few moments pass.
This is what you really want.
Shh. He stops and looks at you and he says, I thought you understood. And he walks straight towards the transporter room. Still carrying his tool set. But just the pace. And he steps into the transporter room. The doors close. And you hear Jiv come on. What's going on up there? Sage, are you coming back down? We could really use you. Bring Zadis.
He's not coming. I'm on my way.
You hear that on the comm unit. And Jiv just goes, all right, fine. You! And he stops one of the ensigns and moves off.
At least he'll be safe.
All right, let's go.
Okay. I need to know... Okay, so next up is Talon. Is that correct?
Yes.
All right, so what are you doing?
Where am I? Where is Captain? I want to go to the captain.
Captain would probably be on the bridge,
We're on the
coordinating
bridge.
departure
We're
orders.
on the bridge.
Yeah.
If
Okay.
Commander Rue sent out the orders for everybody to come back, I assume they're on the bridge as well.
Yep.
So we three are there, and I go, Martinez to Dr. Chishiros.
Captain?
I need you on the bridge immediately.
I am in sick bay surrounded by... I have taken everything out of one of the, sample storage cabinets and decided to reorganize them differently, so there's currently a giant mess around me on the floor.
Matazi is... He says, Doctor, I can do this. I'll make sure that sickbay is ready to receive the injured.
Right. Be right back. On my way.
Matazi begins to meticulously line up medicines, hyposprays, preparing beds. A few of the nurses are running around as well. People are scrambling. All right.
Captain, may I speak with you in your ready room?
Yes, sure.
So we go to the ready room.
What is it, Lieutenant Commander?
Captain, before we received these orders, I was preparing to ask you for, let me check my notes. To ask you for sensor upgrades and if we could take a trip to a collapsing pulsar to collect some scientific data. I understand now that our orders from the Admiral are much higher priority, and those now will take a lower status. However, I'm wondering if we are able to use the collapsing pulsar as a diversion.
How so?
Well, I can check with Lieutenant Baker and her star charts of the Shackleton Expanse. And if the collapsing pulsar is in the same vicinity as Cuvium Prime, perhaps we could tell Tolash or whoever else may be wondering about our whereabouts. We could tell them that is our true mission. They will wonder where we're going.
Of course.
We need something to tell them
That'll
that is
be our
believable.
report. That makes sense. That checks out. Okay, get with Lieutenant Baker to see if that could line up.
I'd like to, I would like to spend a momentum to create that, if we can, as a story point that the collapsing
that's our
pulsar is
alibi.
like,
That's our
it's
alibi.
plausibly, it's like on the way or in that similar
That
vicinity.
the urgency of going to look at this science thingy is why we're hightailing out of there fast.
Okay.
That's our alibi.
So what you notice is that the Sally Ride is in full. She is a well-oiled machine right now, and a lot of the crew members that are on board are. You can sense the anxiety. Nobody thought that they were signing up for this. Everyone knew that eventually this was going to happen. But as you see people dashing down the hallways and going to battle stations and preparing. Rue, you're kind of moving through some of the hallways and checking out as you see ensigns moving past, but everyone looks like they're ready. Everyone looks like they're training, they're prepared for this. But you cannot help but shake that somehow this is still not right for the name of a ship bearing the name Sally Ride. As you move into, Talon, as you move into the research center, you see Lieutenant Baker is on one of the data pads, and she says, "Hey, I got your ideas, your plan about the pulsar. I'm not sure if the pulsar will definitely be a viable excuse, I think, if we have to leave abruptly, but I have some interesting ideas about how to use the gravitational eddies to our advantage if we go into battle. Because the Klingons don't have, at least to my knowledge, Klingons don't have the sensor suite that the Sally Ride does, and since we're a science vessel, we could use what we have to basically use space to our advantage. I mean, that's what we were made for. So I have a few ideas that I wanted to run past you. It's possible that once we arrive at the Cuvium system that we're going to find gravimetric eddies and electromagnetic disturbances that could possibly be in the system, and if they are, we could use them like mines, because they don't normally appear on sensor systems. So just throwing that out there, because it might be good to sort of do a scan of the system as soon as we arrive. Yes. I mean that's obviously standard procedure, but I mean with regards to the combat zone. And when she says that, it's almost like, oh my God, this is real. And you see she takes a deep breath and says, so that's just something to think about.
You are thinking very strategically, Lieutenant. I never thought that as a Starfleet science officer I would be using gravimetric anomalies and eddies as minefields. But when in difficult times, we must adapt.
Okay. All right, let's. I'm ready for your orders. The two of you are going to go to work, basically.
Is Lieutenant Baker staying on the ship with us?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Dorothy is not.
Is there anyone that's going to be leaving?
No.
Good. Well, I wanted to somehow get something to him, so I was thinking either, I was trying to get a data pad.
No. In fact,
Can I just
Ben is even refusing to leave ship. He is refused.
Who is what?
Ben.
Oh, okay, Ben.
Yeah. Refused to leave the ship. Mm-hmm. He will not leave Tristan's side, and he is offered to help any way he can in sickbay.
Is there any way to transport something to the station that would get to him?
Yeah.
Okay.
So we want to talk about that later? What you transport? Okay.
I'm gonna bounce off Tristan and Kevin on my way out of sick bay. The question of whether leaving Tolash behind is likely to cause them to punish Tolash.
You're asking who this?
Tristan and Kevin, Klingon, and the Klingon
Tristan
anthropology
and
expert.
Kevin look at each other, and Tristan goes, well, Doctor, it's my experience that Klingons, if you were to leave this Klingon behind, there's a really good chance that that might make things not difficult for Tolash, but for Narendra Station.
Crap.
If we were to leave without our liaison, it might cause a lot of suspicion and questioning.
Is that something you'd like to share with the captain?
Oh, I can share that with him
Going
immediately,
that
yes.
way. Okay. Captain, bring me company.
Acknowledged.
We will cut to do a wipe, and Tristan finishes basically telling you what he just relayed to
Yes.
Dr. Throlo. And Kevin says, I have to agree with Tristan.
Thank you. I assumed as much. I'm sorry to interrupt you. Martinez, Lieutenant Commander Talon.
Yes,
Does
Captain.
the signs check out? Is that our alibi?
Yes, we are
Okay.
able to. Yes.
Can you report to the bridge immediately, please, Talon?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
And rather unexpectedly, the door opens, and you see standing in the turbolift door is a woman that used to be known by the name of Lassie LeClaire. Bearing the Lieutenant Pips, she steps onto the bridge and says, Captain, permission to come aboard the bridge?
Permission granted.
She steps and walks over and says, pretend I'm speaking with an incredibly awesome
I was
Scottish
gonna
accent.
say, like,
I mean, you could try.
Sorry, Joe. This is gonna suck.
Sorry, Joe. I can't do it as well as you.
That's good. Just fine. That's great.
No way. I guarantee you back at home, they're cringing right now.
That's great.
I love it.
So-
Continue.
Lassie looks at you, Commander, and she just says, Commander, and says, sorry, I've been keeping tabs on what's been happening. The crew's talking. I know you've got a Klingon that needs a pair of eyes on him. I can do that. I can make sure he doesn't get into any trouble.
I don't know if that would be necessary at this point, but it also might be necessary. Commander, that's going to be your call.
She looks at you, and you feel Dryden's presence near you. You don't see him, but you feel him there, and
Is that where the butterflies are coming from?
probably. And Lassie gives you a look that somehow you find familiar. It's the look of a woman who, if needs to, can flip the switch and go cold as ice if she has to get the job done. And it's a side of her you haven't seen as Rue, because she's woke up as a Starfleet officer trying to remember who she was. But the best way you can describe it, because Dryden is also thinking things right now, is the experiences you've had as Dryden. You're looking at a ghost of maybe who Section 31 Lassie LeClaire was. But you see a temperament there, and she looks at you for permission and says, if you need me, I can be discreet.
If he needs to be stashed away, but don't hurt him. That causes more problems than it solves. And stay safe.
Word of warning, there's very few ways to take down a Klingon that doesn't involve hurting them. But I get your meaning, and I'll see to it.
Do you intend to stay behind on the starbase?
No, I'm coming with you.
Good.
Unless you order me off the ship, Captain.
No, you're staying here. You're staying with
Right.
us. Okay, I need my senior staff in my ready room now. The rest of you are dismissed. Go
Sir.
back to your quarters or whatever it was that you were doing. Keep up the good work.
She leaves the bridge. The crew begins to scatter. Ensigns take their positions. Sally Ride's getting ready to leave dock.
Captain, I have one question about our orders.
Yeah, so do I. I've got a ton. We've got about 18 minutes before we are wheels up, and we need to figure something out right now. Commander, can I please see the note?
Right, sir.
I've got this out here in front of the table in front of us so that everybody can look at it if they need to. I don't want to make this any more difficult for Narendra. We have an alibi. And I'm going to be honest with you, at this point, as far as Commander Talash goes, I trust him. And I need ideas. And even if we're going at maximum warp, which I'm not even convinced we should be going, but maybe as close as possible to that, this is still going to take 22 plus hours to get out there, so we'll have time to come up with some sort of a solution. I'm about to address the entire ship, and I want this to be a last case scenario before we take Klingon lives. And I'm thinking that having Talash on our side, on our bridge, may help with that. So I'm leaning towards...
His own people.
I'm
We're attacking.
You're done in engineering, but I hear you, Sage. I hear
thought
you.
you said the senior staff.
Yeah,
Well,
I interrupted him in the middle of calling that
I
meeting.
didn't
It was
want to
clear.
remove
Never
my
mind.
geniuses from
I'm not
engineering. I didn't want to remove my geniuses from engineering doing what they're doing, but essentially, you're right. You're right, Sage. It's if I bring him on and let him know what orders we received, I feel like that might be a smarter play.
You're
and
putting
could
him
help
into
us.
a position of potential dishonor.
Yes.
It's not a kind thing to do to him, sir.
No, it is not. But I have a inkling that bringing him on and having him part of the group of people that are coming up with a solution may help us come to a non-lethal one when we do arrive, including saving these Klingon lives and doing it whatever it is that Starfleet needs us to do. And just, again, postponing this for as long as possible in the chance that this stupid war can resolve itself while we're out there. That's what I'm leaning towards. So I need ideas, people. Doctor, Lieutenant Commander.
Captain.
We're either bringing him or we're leaving him. And we've already got our alibi in place. But I needed us to come to an agreement with Talash first, and then we can move into the stage of what's our plan going to be.
Captain, before I address your proposition here, did you mention saving Klingon lives? Which Klingon lives do you wish to save?
As many as possible.
We have been ordered to destroy a defense vessel.
I understand that.
Those are Klingon lives.
We've been ordered to intercept a vessel.
To destroy.
Yeah.
The orders say we have to protect those assets, but I don't see anywhere in that we can't try to find another way.
The orders are to intercept and destroy.
The plan I'm thinking right now, Lieutenant Commander, is that we do in fact intercept the ship. We've made up some sort of a ploy with Talash on our side. He's standing on our bridge. We ask these Klingons to lower their shields. We beam them aboard. We destroy their vessel. And they're alive. And we've completed our mission. And if we come back and we have Klingon agents that have seen what we've just done, we try to implement some sort of technology, medicine, anything that we can to wipe their memory.
I'm giving myself
of
a
this
threat.
event.
It is unclear.
We've got 18 minutes, sir. We have now 14 minutes until Wheels Up. It is unclear, but we have 22 hours plus to figure this out. But we're leaving in 13 minutes now, and we're either going to have Talash on board or not.
Captain, when I read that letter, it is unclear whether the assets are secret Federation assets. What I understand from that letter is that there are secret Federation operatives working somewhere between here and Klingon space that we even do not know of. Mm-hmm. And we are allowed to call upon them as needed, but their secrecy must be maintained. Mm-hmm. What I thought when I read the letter was that the Klingon vessel that we are to seek, intercept, and destroy knows of their whereabouts, and that is why we need to destroy them. So you're saying instead of destroying the lives on that ship,
end their mission while trying to save their lives.
So if we do not end their lives to end their mission, then we need some leverage.
Yeah. And maybe Talash can provide that leverage. I don't know.
Or we could follow orders.
We could. And it could make things worse. For Talash, for Narendra, for us.
That wasn't our call to make. That was the Admiral's. She made it, sir.
I understand.
These orders don't say anything about whether or not we bring our babysitter.
No, they don't.
No.
And again, those orders say to destroy that ship. And if there's one thing I'm sure of, it's that Starfleet has a history of very qualified people that find workarounds with their orders. And I figured we've got a bunch of smartasses on this ship. One of us have got to be able to find some kind of a loophole in that wording on that piece of paper in 22 hours. There is loopholes.
I'm not here.
And again, Commander, worst case scenario. Worst case scenario, we kill Klingons.
Make your call. Do we take Tolosh or not, sir?
Before I make that call, I want to hear from each one of you. Yes or no?
I believe that we should take Commander Tolash, but for the time being, while we figure out what exactly to tell him, we tell him that we are simply
The
on a
alibi.
scientific
The alibi.
research mission to a collapsing pulsar.
But we now have 11 minutes, so he needs to get his ass on the ship. Okay, so we've got one vote for yes, but obviously keep him in the dark until we're on our way. Commander, yes or no?
Bringing him and keeping him in the dark if possible reduces risk to Narendra.
Yes.
There's no way he's going to stay off the bridge.
I understand. Okay, so that's also another yes, maybe. Yes, keep him in the dark. Doctor?
I trust the advice of Tristan and Kaven, and I trust Tolash, and I hope he can forgive us, but I think this may be the best action.
All right. Okay, we're on the bridge, so I'm going to go ahead and hail Commander Tolash right now.
Captain, one
Yes.
more thing.
Sorry, relay that, Ensign? Yep.
We have... What is Lassie's new name?
Yes.
We actually.
It is pending. She is aware.
Okay.
I have a notion of at least the last name.
Call
if
her
you would be down for it.
The lieutenant formerly known as Leclerc, yes.
Lieutenant X. We have Lieutenant X at our disposal, but we also have a holodeck that if we grant those permissions for Tolash, that could be a bit of a bargaining chip.
Or just keep him so busy in the holodeck that he doesn't know there's something going on.
Exactly, which we
or-
would need to remove those safety protocols to do, I believe.
That can be
Or
done.
actually trust him, and maybe in 22 hours he'll actually see our point of view and understand that I don't want to kill Klingons because that is dishonorable. And maybe he can help us figure out some other solution. That's also a possibility. All right, we're going to go ahead and hail Commander Tolash.
Okay. A few moments, and he comes up on the screen and says, Captain!
Commander, I'm so glad I caught you. We have got only a few moments. I know that this is such short notice, but we've got a, what was it, a pulsar?
Yes, a
Lieutenant
collapsing
Commander?
pulsar.
A collapsing pulsar. We're so scientifically excited about it, but we have to leave absolutely within the next 6 minutes.
What?
Yes.
It may collapse at any minute. We must.
As
there
you are
now.
our liaison, if you would be so kind as to head to a transporter, or in fact, we can just do a site-to-site if that's easier.
Make a roll. This is command presence.
Oh, okay.
Can I assist somehow?
Sure. But be aware.
I can't make it worse,
Be
right?
aware that you're a Vulcan and you are lying.
Wait, what did you say?
I said be aware that you are a Vulcan and you are attempting to lie.
But you're not. You're saying there's a pulsing.
No, it's
A collapsing
true.
pul- yeah.
That
There
is
is a
true.
collapsing pulse, but I'm saying if you're going to make the assist,
Is an alibi a
you
lie?
need
Yeah, I guess.
you need to phrase this as a
I
work.
want to live a little loose, all right? I want to do this
Hey,
role.
Spock did it all the damn time, but he found a workaround. I exaggerated. He always
Yeah.
had like a workaround. So just
simply
keep that in
She
mind.
said it could collapse at any second.
It could.
Totally true.
That is
It's-
true.
That is all true.
Yeah.
I'm keeping this in your mind as a role play because as a Vulcan, this is one of the areas that Vulcans and Starfleet always have to navigate because you can't always tell the bad guys what's going on. So, but yes, I'll allow the assist. So go ahead and make the roll.
What's the difficulty?
Difficulty is 1. It is a contested roll.
I'm going to go ahead and use a momentum
Okay.
to give myself a third
I'm
die.
gonna pull out Tolash's stats.
And what am I rolling? What are any of us rolling, I guess?
It's
What
command
do we
presence
roll?
for me.
Tell you what, I'll have you roll presence science.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you.
Logical.
Logical.
Okay.
Go, sir, go.
The red dice like you guys.
If you hit the number, does that count? Or no?
Oh,
Does
dang
it have to be
it.
one
Alright.
below?
Yeah, no, it counts.
Meter B.
It's
I was
meter B.
one off, but I didn't complicate, so.
Okay.
Yeah, 2 successes.
Okay. He goes, go ahead and get a momentum. And he just goes,
I know. It's crazy, Commander. It really is. But you seem like you're dressed. It's the life of a science
fine.
vessel. Yes. Site to site?
no, I'll make my way to the trench.
Okay, great. We will not leave without you,
The
Commander.
general knows about this, I trust.
Yeah. Absolutely. We'll go ahead and send in the information. Don't worry about that. Commander, can you
Kills
please,
the transmission.
Can you please send our mission parameters to the Admiral to pass along to the General?
Sir?
In our little report, yes, the alibi that we had.
Collapsing
That's
star.
already gone.
All right.
Thanks, Commander.
hope
Takes
so.
about 10 minutes. Tolash does appear. You
Okay.
hear the transporter room say, I have him on board, Captain.
Okay.
While all this was going on, I was sending off
You
something
think?
to
Okay.
Linsanus, yeah.
All right. Unless there's anything else, Sally Ride's ready to depart.
Nacelle's up.
Is our ensign? Is she on the bridge?
I'm
when we're
coming.
leaving?
I'm going to assume that once it's time to depart,
That it's
the
time to
ensign
depart.
assumes helm position and engineering.
And here's what I want to ask the engineers as well. You said maximum warp is going to take 22 and some change hours.
22 hours, yes.
Yeah.
But you said warp 7 is 4 days.
That's correct.
Is it less taxing on the ship if we go 9.5,
That
9?
is going to
like warp
completely
9?
depend on your engineers.
So I'm asking so I would in character ask the engineers before we disembark, what warp are we going? What does the engine need? What would help?
Shiv tells you, Captain, to be perfectly honest, once you pass warp 7, it's the same beast.
Okay.
So if you want us to take us to maximum warp, we can do that, and we'll just do our best to juggle and make sure Sally's not out of breath when she arrives.
All right. Maximum warp it is then.
All right.
Okay. Ensign, punch it.
Sally Ride
Got it, Captain.
just slides away from space dock, maneuvering thrusters out. You receive a reply transmission from the Admiral saying, please proceed on your study immediately in clear skies, Sally Ride.
And then we did have the Klingon liaison. Everything's all copacetic. We're good. Narendra, don't fight each other. Bye.
Okay. Sally Ride pulls away from the station. Course is laid in. Nacelles are up, and you guys
cool,
jump
it's
to
rolled.
warp. Sally immediately accelerates to maximum warp velocity. You guys are hauling ass. The Intrepid class starship burning at top speed. I'm going to need the roll. Did you just roll?
That was the roll to see if we get the point back, right?
Ooh.
Yes.
Did you get the point back?
Both points since it costs 2.
So because we're not technically in combat, so this wouldn't really play a role necessarily. However, because of the situations, what I'm going to do is do a little bit of house rule there. Since you rolled so well to give Sally a point back, I'm going to lower the difficulty of the roll I was about to throw at Mala and Shiv.
Yay!
Sweet. Yeah, because I rolled the 2 dice and I got 2
Thanks,
effects.
Commander.
Okay. So instead of doing this as an extended roll, I want to keep this simple.
Highly effective.
Okay.
So instead of an extended task, we are going to do some straight up engineering checks here.
Okay.
Now, the difficulty, even though I'm reducing it, is still going to be pretty bleh.
And another reduction because I'm in the
You're in main engineering, that's correct.
Great.
So then the difficulty is not going to be too bad. I am going to spend some threat to raise the complication range.
Okay.
But Jiv is going to be helping you here.
Yep.
So I'm going
And
to
so
set
will
the
Sally.
Yeah.
Some of
Yes, Sally will be definitely be
I gotcha.
helping you. So Sally is going to actually make an engines straight up engines engineering
All right.
check, which she is quite good at. That's one of her next
Have you
to science.
seen our
that's
engineers?
Huh?
Have you seen our engineers?
Yeah,
They're
we're-
amazing.
Sally's quite good at that. Let me pull up Jiv's stats here. Okay. So, difficulty of this is 3.
Okay.
Difficulty
Can I
is 3.
spend momentum, everyone?
I'm spending 3 threat to raise the
spending
threat range.
And
Wonderful. Great.
Okay.
17 or better is going to...
And can you remind me what my bonus of the failsafes actually did? I just wrote advantage in a future scene. I don't know what that actually means. How can I?
Okay, so that literally means to create an advantage. You can use it to create an advantageous circumstance. So normally that would cost you 2 momentum, and it lets you change like a minor piece of the narrative, or
Okay.
it lets you create an advantage that would have to logically relate to the actions that you're doing.
Okay.
Yeah, if you can imagine something.
I'm holding on to it. I just wanted to know in future what I can to help.
Yeah, it can be a little daunting for players sometimes, because what it does, creating an advantage, literally lets you narrate a little bit. It lets you
Cool.
decide a logical step that you're inserting into the scene. And you can also use that, by the way, to create a disadvantage
For other people.
for other people. Yeah. I can do that to you guys. You all can do that to me.
'Kay.
So
I am
keep
so
that in mind.
keenly aware for tonight.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
All right, so go ahead and make the roll.
Difficulty's 3, and what is the threat level?
Difficulty's 3, 16
I
or
did
higher
one.
is the
Oh, you
threat.
did?
Sally is
No.
assisting.
Oh, I asked for one.
Oh, well, now you have it.
Jiv is going to assist you.
Okay.
So let's go ahead and make our roll.
Okay.
Okay. Jiv is rolling.
Ooh. Okay. Ooh. Okay. I can re-roll 1. Okay. And threat level is what?
17 and up.
17 and up.
Nice dodge.
Oh, excellent.
What'd you get?
3.
3 successes.
3 successes.
What's from Sally? 2? You got 1 from Jiv.
Beautiful.
Wow. So that's 6 total. What was
6
the difficulty?
total. 3.
The difficulty was 3.
3 momentum. That's
3
okay.
momentum.
Right, topped off.
Meticulous
She is a little
care.
angry and focused.
Yeah, I mean, it's she's on her second wind, basically.
Me? Yeah.
Sally is.
Oh, I meant me.
Oh, okay, yes.
We're all, I think, on our second wind.
Honestly,
We haven't even
yes,
gone to
because
bed yet.
once you get things set up in main engineering and the next shift comes on, you and Jiv basically orders you to sleep. He's like, you are absolutely under orders. I'm not going to have crew members die because you get a little sleepy in the middle of a fight.
I
Understood?
don't plan on getting sleepy.
You're ordered to your rack. Chief.
You need my help.
I'm going to bed too. You want to take this up with the commander? I can bring them down here and they can talk you into it.
No. Fine.
Captain's going to call us. We got 22 hours before we get our nose bloodied, so let's get some rest. Everyone's going to need us at our best.
See you in the future.
Okay. In that 22 hours time, does anybody want to do anything before we arrive?
Yes, so many things.
Really?
Yeah.
So many things.
I never guessed. What would you like to do?
First, we're going to buy some time and make it look like business as usual and make everything boring, and we're going to go off duty so that Talash can decide to go to a holo program or stay in his quarters or whatever.
Okay.
I'm not yet ready to bring him in on what's happening.
I am going to have Tolosh make an insight check real quick.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Because, I'm sure the crew has been given orders not to tip your hand. So we're going to see
But
how...
everybody's on edge, yeah.
Sages in
Oh.
quarters. And
set the difficulty.
And I also really wanted to do a ship-wide broadcast before we took off, before even Talash got on board, in that 10 minutes to just let everybody know, attention crew of the USS Sally Ride, this is your captain speaking, this is Rafael. This is Rafael Martinez. You all know that we've been given orders, and we're going. But I'm going to do everything in my power, and so is your senior staff and everybody here on the crew, to come up with a solution so that we don't have to take lives and we can still complete our mission. We have 22 hours to figure this out. I have faith in my crew. I have faith in all of you, but know that your leadership knows that this is a Starfleet vessel with the name Sally Ride, and we intend to uphold as much of that as we can. Thank you for doing your job. Thank you for continuing to perform admirably. Captain out. Something like that.
Something like that. That works great. Go ahead and make
great.
a presence command check.
Okay.
I'm going to set the difficulty at 0. I know you're at max momentum.
2 successes.
Okay, so what I'll let you do is burn those 2 spare momentum to create advantage so that Tolosh doesn't get this roll.
Ooh. So that the crew is...
The crew is even keel and cool as ice.
Hashtag ship of secrets.
There's a bunch of actors on this crew.
Another t-shirt
How do you do,
idea.
Talash? Good day, sir.
Ship of secrets.
Okay, yeah. We'll just do an immediate momentum spend. You don't have to pull them. And yeah,
Great.
Tolosh is not tipped off in any way. He believes, and of course, Sally Ride, being geared, built, and designed to travel at these speeds, has no idea that you guys are proceeding at maximum warp. In fact, it goes pretty much straight to bed when he gets on board, and requests not to be bothered until morning.
Good. And in that time, I'm
In
going
which case,
to-
he's already scheduled holodeck time, by the way.
Perfect. That's fine. So what time of our day is it? What is it, like 8 p.m.,
Well,
9
by this
p.m.?
point, yeah, your shifts are coming to an end.
Good. That's what I'm going
So it's
to
like
call
six-ish.
one-on-one
Yeah, 'cause it's
to all
after
of my
dinner, basically.
senior staff.
Okay.
Martinez to Chief Wren, Martinez to Dr. Shishiros, Martinez to Ensign Sage.
You
Martinez
call
to
senior
Lieutenant-
staff up?
Let's go to the ready room. Let's go to the conference room. We need to figure this shit out.
Okay.
Another meeting.
Another meeting.
The lifeblood of Starfleet. Oh no, we'll just go into a battle and just kill people or not know what we're doing. No, we got to.
It is very logical
We got to
to
have
have
lots of
meetings.
meetings.
Don't worry.
Plan this out.
Okay.
We're just making fun of you.
Jiv shows up last. Everybody takes a seat at the table. Everyone's looking a little Like it's bedtime basically. Right after you were ordered to bed, you were walking to your quarters when you got the notification from Martinez to report. Everybody enters.
Honestly, I'm a little relieved.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, the nerves. Jiv walks into the room and takes a seat. Everybody takes a seat. Senior staff is assembled.
And Sage, can you get everybody the strongest formula that you have so that we can all be a little bit more perky, please?
Yes. Triple caffeination. You got it, Captain.
Thank you. I'll have that cream soda, thank you.
And just so you know, Captain, Lynn Zadis decided to leave the USS Sally Ride because of what was happening. He didn't have time to officially let you know.
Figures.
It's his
Okay.
choice. Let him make it.
All right, at least with Talash on board, Narendra's a little safer than if he wouldn't be, so that's good at least. All right. Okay, everybody.
Cream soda.
Okay.
I'm fine, thank you.
Again, we have this
took
out on the
yours.
table. Anybody can look at it if they need to. We have our orders, and I want solutions from everybody. I want worst case scenario, I want best case scenario.
Well, I mean, what kind of solutions are you looking for, Captain?
I'm looking for solutions to where we can complete this mission with the minimal loss of Klingon life.
Can I see that letter, sir?
Well,
We all have them in our group chat, by the way.
I mean, we can
They're
try
all
to.
scanned.
Oh, thank you.
So, yeah.
How do you figure? Jiv leans across the table and he says, "I'm sorry, Captain. I'm not."
Okay, we'll try to bring you guys up to speed. We had a bit of a discussion, the commander, the lieutenant commander, and the doctor and I, before we disembarked, and an idea that I had, and I wanted to know if it was possible, is to intercept this Klingon Defense Force vessel in this sector of space and convince them to have their shields down if we are coming from orders from Starbase 364 with maybe even a Klingon on our bridge, Commander Talash, to potentially get them to lower their defenses, sneakily beam their crew aboard, destroy their vessel if need be.
Captain?
And then
And-
execute their crew?
No.
Then
and keep
what do
their
you?
crew.
I'm sorry. I don't mean to interrupt you, Captain,
Please.
but it's just that if we interfere with the operations of a KDF ship, they're gonna.
I know.
Captain, how
Yes.
can this is more your department or yours, but I hate this mission and I hate these orders. Can we make them think their ship is sick? Because I think you're right. It says destroy the vessel.
Our
Interesting.
orders explicitly say destroy.
Interesting.
Yeah,
The vessel.
Maybe
Vessel.
intercept and destroy.
put a pin in that, Doctor. But
vessel.
that's the kind of stuff I needed some ideas. The thing that I had
The ship's sick.
as after we retrieve the crew, destroy the vessel, is somehow try to make it look like it's Romulans. And now we have a crew of Klingons on board that saw everything, that experienced this event. Figure out a way to wipe their memory of it,
What?
Wow.
Okay.
if that's
You
possible.
wanna
I don't know how the heck to do
figure out
any
how
of
to-
that, to be honest with you, Captain. We don't even know what class ship we're up against. I mean, if it's a battle cruiser, you're talking 300 to 600 Klingons. I mean, if we emptied Sally Ride, we wouldn't be able to carry that many Klingons. I don't know how viable that is as a solution. And if we interfere with Klingons during military operation, they're just going to report back to Narendra and then
Or kill us.
or kill us.
That is the more likely of the two options.
I'm all for exploring options, Captain. I'm not trying to be a naysayer, but I don't know. Those are explicit orders, and from what I know about Klingons, I don't know how to approach this peacefully. I really don't. I'm open and I'll help in any way I can. But as an officer who's been in Starfleet for over 30 years, I don't know that I'm any help to you on this one.
Of course, you're helpful. That was helpful.
What if... Remember... Seems like ages ago, but remember the time when we were trying to trick into thinking one of our shuttles was the Sally Ride? We were going to shoot it into the nebula.
Decoy, yeah.
What if we do something similar with some kind of probe to where we can send it out like a signal to where they think it's some kind of Romulan ship and distract them, and I don't know.
That's good. No, we can keep going down that path, or maybe even get them to give chase and leave the sector. But it's a Klingon defense force, and our orders explicitly say to destroy that vessel. So it doesn't say vessels. I don't know what comprises a Klingon defense force. I don't know what's happening in this sector. We'll obviously have to get more information and data from scans that we make before we head in there.
If we equip the probe with some kind of pulse, that whenever they do get near it and try to attack it in some way, if it can kind of render some of their systems.
That sounds like a tall order, but
it's a lot. But I bet Chief Ren can think of something.
Mala and I can definitely, with Talon's help, we can definitely use Sally's sensor suite and her deflector dish to full capacity. I mean, there's no reason in the world why Sally couldn't use jamming and other interference tools at our disposal.
That's one way to make their ship sick.
It's kind of Sally's good at that.
We can destroy their ship. I'm disabling it completely, and they'd have to call for help, but at least we wouldn't have to take any on board.
But then you have a Klingon ship that's called for help and is reporting that they were attacked by a Federation starship.
And
not if they don't know.
Not if they think it's a Romulan.
And just so we're clear, if that doesn't work, then we're responsible for the death of everyone on Narendra Station.
And we are risking starting an additional war between the Romulans and the Klingons, and we have hundreds of Klingon witnesses.
If we do somehow through technology dismantle their ship, this is something that I imagine Klingons would be able to repair at some point, and then we're back at square one.
Captain, it seems that we are trying to avoid the unavoidable. We have orders to destroy this Klingon vessel.
I do not believe in a no-win scenario.
What if there was some way of destroying it from the inside, to where if we got someone on the inside, like Kevin or Commander Talash, if he were to join our side, if we could somehow beam over a Klingon onto their Klingon ship where they can go undetected, they could plant something and somehow maybe destroy the ship from the inside.
I don't know how we're going to get Commander Talash to go along with that plan.
Kevin, dress him up like a warrior. He probably could pull it off, right?
I bet Tristan would love this idea.
He won't. But it's something to think about. I mean, it keeps the Federation out of it. For somewhat.
Our first duty is to the truth.
What was that, Doctor?
Our first duty is to the truth.
Look, we didn't start this war, though.
Yeah, but we can make it worse. Depending on how we play this, we can make it much worse.
I'm just saying...
I mean, we can make it worse for the people we just left on Narendra Station. That kind of worse.
Our orders are to destroy it, but it doesn't say anything about fixing it after. What if we destroy it, disable it, and they call for help and we're there? We fix it for them.
And we're there.
There may be assets or knowledge on that ship that need to be destroyed. We do not have enough.
So we beam over, we help, and we can figure out what's on that ship that we need to protect.
And if we can't figure it out, what do we do then?
Then we'll cross that bridge when we get there. But if we're able to get inside some of their systems and figure out what they do know, we can wipe their whole computer systems.
What would prevent them from calling for Klingon help versus a Starfleet vessel that's in the
Even
area?
if they call for Klingon help, we're the closest thing. Maybe the Ranger Station will send us if they know where we are.
You know,
if they're in dire enough health, they may have to rely on us.
And if we have Commander Talash again on board, it's something. It's not just a random science Starfleet vessel. It's like, oh, they've got a Klingon on board. Okay, they're being sent over from Starbase 364. Sure, we'll accept that help.
Can I just say the thing that bothers me the most about this is that we were told that there was only one Klingon vessel in the sector when we arrived to keep the balance of power. And now we're being told there's another one.
Where is this space? Just to clarify, where is this space right now? What is it?
The Cuvium sector. System.
Cuvium system?
Cuvium, yeah.
And that's here in the Shackleton Expanse?
Yeah.
And we've been told that all of the Shackleton Expanse only holds one Klingon vessel?
Apparently, because you were told this because apparently the other Klingon vessels are at the front line of battle right now with the Federation.
Right.
Also,
And
the letter does say believed to be operating in the system. We do not know if it is, and if it is, it probably is cloaked.
The point of this mission, as far as I understand it, is to protect these assets. That if the Klingon Empire gains knowledge of these assets, not counting that they might already have it, but if they gain knowledge of this, it could put everybody at Starbase 364 in danger. So we are to protect these assets, by
Stopping them from being discovered?
stopping them from being discovered, keeping this secret, brushing it under the rug, if you will.
Okay.
And-
yeah, we can
and
work with that.
this-
So maybe we. So okay. Wait. So maybe we can use Sally Ride to somehow make it look like there's nothing there. That they're in the system, and maybe. I mean, I don't know why they're in the system in the first place, but maybe we can use some kind of like a decoy or something that's I don't know. That maybe to mistake a sensor readings. I mean, if they're there in the system anyway, if they're secret assets and they're looking in the system, does that mean that they knew that there was something to find there?
We don't know.
I don't know.
We don't know, but that's a good question to ask. And if they are there and they knew that they were there and they're looking for it, then our mission does become, we have to eliminate all of the intelligences that are aware that this thing exists, which might be even more than this just one vessel. And that seems a little bit like a drop in an ocean. So I am leaning towards the Empire isn't aware of this asset, and that maybe something like that might actually end up being a tangible solution, is to keep this asset secret and convince the Klingon Empire that there's nothing there somehow.
Jiv's eyes kind of slowly turn and look at you, Commander. And he's like, this is kind of what you do, Commander. You've been really quiet over there.
Yes. We have our orders.
Yeah.
We have our orders from someone who does know what's going on, from someone who is much more likely to know what the Klingons do and don't know, what the parameters of the mission ought to be, and how best to protect the Federation lives, whom we are all ordered to protect. That was the call that was made, and orders are not orders because we find them convenient at all times or we find them easy at all times. We sometimes act without knowing what's going on, and sometimes it feels terrible, and we do it anyway.
Sometimes it's the wrong thing to do.
Commander, sometimes perspective is skewed when you're under the thumb of threat.
And sometimes perspective is skewed when you're too small to see the bigger picture. I trust the Admiral. I don't want to start making a habit of flouting her in word or in spirit.
I agree with the Commander.
I am challenging you. I am challenging everyone in this room to do better. I am challenging you to use the resources at your disposal, to use your intelligences to come up with a better solution.
Captain, the Admiral risked her life in
I
front of
understand
us
that.
to give us this order.
I understand
We
that.
cannot take that lightly.
We're not taking it lightly. But what I will not accept in this room right now is throwing in the towel and saying there is no better solution that we can come up with. We are Starfleet. This is what we do.
Captain, may I speak freely?
Please.
I believe it is the height of ignorance to assume that you know better than a Starfleet Admiral who has more information than you about a situation.
It's not what I'm doing. I have faith in my crew that we can come up with a solution where both sides win. I do not believe in a no-win scenario, and I know that that sounds like a bunch of malarkey to everybody in this room, and I know it sounds like the admiration of a boyhood hero, but there is some truth in Starfleet's mission that there can be a better way, that there can be a better solution presented, and that we are at a point where we can figure something out, where we can complete this mission, not endanger the lives back home, not lose a single Starfleet life. But you know what? We'll not have to engage in assassination.
Lieutenant Commander Talon, I'm surprised by you. What the captain is saying is not that we assume we know better than the Admiral. It's that we must be open to all information. And I think that's absolutely the case. The diagnosis isn't in yet. There's nothing in these orders that dictates loss of life. I believe I'm awfully glad that we have Commander Rue on board, and if there is a way through this, I believe that Rue, sharing our values, you will help us to find that way. I do think it's possible that the Admiral, who is in a very bad situation and does have limited information, is making calls she believes are necessary, and we might be lucky enough to find out there's another way. Happens in medicine all the time. You go in with your worst case scenario plan, but you never stop looking for those other options. If you believe that places us at greater risk, I can't stop you.
I believe it was arrogant of Admiral Herbert to not assume that we have geniuses aboard this ship that can come up with something. Something, including the genius tactical mind of Commander Rue. If anybody can figure out a solution to this, it's going to be them. That's why they're on this ship. That's why we're all here.
I feel like we can't really further a plan until we get closer and figure out what kind of ship we're dealing with.
That might be true, which is why we need to come up with as many possible scenarios before we arrive, before we can start getting some information.
I like the breaking it from the inside and then wiping it clean.
Okay, follow that through all the way to its logical end. What happens? What happened? What's the next step? What's the next step? We've got to be so many steps ahead.
I'll make a
Again,
plan.
The goal here, people, the goals are protect these assets. It says, if need be, we can call upon these assets for assistance. That leads me to believe that we're dealing with Starfleet personnel. What else could it be? A warehouse full of stuff and secrets that we can call upon for help? No, there's personnel down there. There's ships, there's weapons. So maybe there is a scenario where we, in an effort to disguise them, evacuate them? I don't know. Can they leave their post? We're going to have to figure out that information when we get there.
Captain, I can't operate on a wound I can't see.
Right. The other orders that are in there are to destroy this Klingon Defense Force vessel. So we're going to need schematics and stats on this vessel, what we're dealing with. It says to destroy the vessel.
Defense vessel.
Defense Force vessel.
Defense Force
Which
vessel.
is, by the way,
That's-
the official name of the Klingon
Yeah.
military, Klingon Defense Force.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's up in the air right now.
Yeah.
And I'm getting to a point, people, where I want to bring Talash in this. Because I want to...
I don't think we're doing him a favor if we...
Because I want to lend a hand of trust from the Federation.
I mean, I trust Talash, but you're putting in a position where he has to betray his own people,
Not
Captain.
necessarily. I'm asking him to figure out a solution to save his people. And maybe he will have some insight and knowledge that we don't. That he can employ in this mission.
Captain,
However impossible it may seem. Go ahead.
we're at war, and we've been ordered to destroy an enemy. I'm open to suggestions, but I am frightened by the concept of trying to find a solution that makes this feel better. It frightens me because of what's at risk. And I'll go where you point me, and I will not protest. But I only ask that if it comes down to it, do not make me choose between your orders and the Admiral's.
None of you are going to have to do that.
I'm really happy to hear that, sir.
None of
I
you are
don't
gonna
like
have to
this
do that.
any
I
more
need
than
to make
anybody
that
else does.
clear. I need to make that clear in this room right now, okay? If it comes down to it, we will have to do what we have to do, and that includes destroying this Klingon vessel and killing Klingons, and then dealing with the fallout afterwards. Yes, duh, obviously. But at this point, that is 21 and a half hours away, so let's just talk it out until we get to it. But I'm not going to put any of you in that position. That is why Commander Rue is to my left. So that's a possibility, but I want to come up with as many scenarios before that. And Lieutenant Commander, it shouldn't scare you at all that there's a possibility where we can complete this mission and not further exacerbate what is happening right now between the Empire and Starfleet. That should not scare you in the slightest, sir.
It scares me, Captain, because
It shouldn't.
Captain, you're looking for a way to save Klingon lives.
Yes.
And we're at war.
Yes.
They are not going to take that same consideration with
But
us, and
the
they will murder
only-
every single person on this ship. We are going into this situation with our hands tied behind our backs and a
Not
blindfold
necessarily. Anybody can undo their hands from behind their backs. It's the Sally fucking Ride. That's what we're doing. That's what I'm trying to ask you to do. We do have our hands tied behind our back, and I'm trying to ask for a lockpick, something. And the only way, Lieutenant Commander, that this thing resolves itself or can continue to move towards a peaceful resolution with the Klingons, and it's not just Gowron, because we all know that there are Klingons who disagree with his actions as of late, right? So to take advantage of that and to try to truly build some everlasting peace, it is going to include events like what we might go and do right now, which is, oh, we destroyed a Klingon vessel. We saved 300, 600 Klingon lives. They didn't die. We superseded some orders, kind of. We found a loophole to try to make it so that Klingons didn't have to die. We weren't happy about these orders, and we tried to save some. That possibility should be more powerful to you, sir.
It's in their culture to die, Captain.
Than the risk.
They would rather die than be taken captive. In fact, we might be disgracing entire family lines for generations if we take them prisoner. I'm just being honest.
What happens if Gowron is overthrown in the next few hours, weeks, days, months, years? What happens? What happens then?
You see Jiv's face gets iron. He stands up at the table and says, Captain, I'm going to be straight with you. This is your first command. You're making a mistake. Sir.
No sir necessary, Shiv. I respect that. You can sit down. Please.
He gets back into his seat.
Maybe I am making a mistake.
Mala, as he says that, as he takes it, you sense that Jiv hates himself right now for having to say that. As he sits back into the chair, you just see this sort of like disappointment. You can feel it pulsating off of him.
I was gonna say something.
He slides back into the chair and he just doesn't make eye contact with me.
Maybe I am making a mistake. But I'd rather be throwing things against the wall right now in these 21 hours that we have before we get to a point where I'm going to have to order to kill a bunch of Klingons. Sorry. Sue me. As an old Earth expression to say, yes, I'm guilty of what you're accusing me of, but I would rather deal with that in like a moral setting.
I'll go where you point me, Captain.
I know you all will, and this isn't easy for anybody.
So, we have 10 minutes left. Do you think you're going to have a solution? Do you want to make some rolls to try to plot something out?
So we have to decide. Well, the captain has to decide whether or not to bring
what I'm
Talosh
asking for
into
now,
this.
we have chewed the fat on this one. It is a brutal situation.
Yeah.
And Martinez is right. It is very reminiscent of a no-win scenario.
We need to know what kind of ship it is before we make. I think
there's a lot of
plan.
Intelligence questions. Definitely.
Yeah.
It seems.
Is there
like
a way to
the
scan
most-
now? Can we? Are we far?
No, you guys are light years
cloaked.
out still.
I mean,
back of the
I'm willing to bet
has us
we're-
like 8 light years
Well,
away.
I mean,
I'm willing to bet
we
they're
wasted a lot of
cloaked.
time. We might have been getting a little.
Even if we scan here, they're cloaked. Like if the,
Very likely.
Yeah.
If the Klingons are hunting something, they're probably
Yeah.
cloaked.
Yeah.
What's scary is what if there's more than one?
That's.
Right.
I mean, that's the unknown.
Yeah. If they're
I mean, it seems
We could be
you guys
going
definitely
into a
get the sense
bloodbath.
from the intelligence report that it's vague enough. There's a lot. There's so many reasons why this is dangerous, because you don't know what you're running into, who you're about to face down. You don't know who your opponent is, or who they are, and you don't know what the Federation assets are. Although Martinez seems to be onto something with regards to.
It's likely people.
It's very likely
personnel.
people.
Yeah.
Or it's something they've been, or like maybe it is equipment that they've been sitting like that they've been keeping hidden. It's hard to say, but what I'm going to ask from you guys now is, after discussing this, what is your plan? What would you like to do? What is going to be the plan of attack? Because when the Sally Ride comes out of warp, you're going to be at the Cuvium system.
Yeah.
Can we?
And the moment you come out of warp, you're in the suck.
I can tell you Thurlow's vote.
Can we hypothesis this? Can we come up with a bunch of different scenarios and then like whittle it down with the more information that we get?
I wouldn't. I don't know that I could say a hypothesis, but I don't think I would use it for that. But going off of what you're asking for, I think this is a perfect opportunity to use, like, because Martinez, you definitely have a strategic and a tactical background. You definitely do as well. I'll let you guys make rolls, and what we can do is call this a research. So what you can do, this is the eve of battle, it makes sense. So what we can do is you can set a briefing for the morning and use tonight to basically strategize and study combat theory and battle theory to discover what you might be up against based off of the information that's been presented to you. And then what I'll do is I'll let you have momentum spends for more information if you like. And then that way I can disseminate, it'll simulate Rue and Martinez bringing to bear all of the options that they have, along with the assistance of your senior staff, to come up with some viable solutions.
I was gonna say I would want to pull Chief Byrne aside and see if we could come up with some kind of like deceptive probe.
Because again, here's the thing: Sally Ride,
Plan.
not a warship, as you know.
Yeah. We
But
gotta use our.
the thing is, because Sally Ride is a science vessel, she can enact certain countermeasure and science techniques that let her, as the man who created the rule system has once said, swing above her weight class. So she can use a lot of nifty, clever little tricks as a science vessel. As I explained this to Sam once, science vessels in Star Trek are like wizards in D&D. You don't have a lot of hit points, but damn, you can do some interesting stuff. If you get clever, you can really lock someone down.
That's what I'm saying. I would rather destroy the ship instead of using like photon torpedoes or phasers. Instead of destroying it that way, I would much rather destroy it using smoke and mirrors.
I have a plan.
It's an option.
Yeah.
But here's what we're going to do.
know how to do
because
that.
we've got 5 minutes left
I'm thinking of doing
of
something
the episode today. So we're at the point where it only makes sense that we bring a fade out
Yeah.
now. So this is going to give you guys an opportunity to reflect and think about this. Unfortunately, we're not going to have Eliza next episode. Eliza's going to be missing this.
No, we need our
Beautiful brain.
science.
Shit.
Eliza will be absent next episode.
Well, we're just gonna have to kill him.
But
Logical.
you guys, as players, and I watch, just so y'all know, giving a little behind the curtains, Critical Role does this all the time. I've watched Liam and Marisha. They have a huge text chain where all they do is for an entire week, they're like, okay, how do we kill this dragon? Well, we could do this, and this. And like, I've seen their text change. So consider this your week to find out how you're going to kill a dragon. This is going to be your opportunity to really think about it.
How to safely remove the brain of the dragon,
Sedate the
destroy the
T-Rex,
dragon's body,
Humans.
remove its
and
teeth.
put the brain in a jar, and it's still alive.
But yeah, we're going to use this time to consult. But right now, where we leave off today's episode, the Sally Ride is at maximum warp, headed straight into the mouth of the lion. Battle is waiting for you when you come out of warp. It's very likely that a Klingon war vessel of some kind is currently patrolling the Cuvium system for these secret Federation assets. And it's very likely that the appearance of a Federation starship on the scene is going to provoke them into battle.
Okay. Just have something really
Keep that in mind.
Okay.
If they shoot first, this epics thing gets way easier.
All right, we're about to Han Solo.
And that's
them.
going to be our episode for today. We're going to wrap there.
Oh boy.
Okay. Okay, we gotta talk, y'all. We have to.
Get that text chain going.
Mark
Use
Sage is
this
still in
time
Starfleet.
wisely.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Dodged another Rue bullet.
Yeah, you're
Yeah,
really,
you guys.
I'm barely hanging on the cliff.
Yeah, that is something that is definitely coming. Time has been on your side holding that off, but that's definitely something.
Yeah.
In the heat of battle next week. It's just
Yeah. By the way.
I sent
The
it to
only
Eric.
reason
Eric
on this
knows
22 hours,
Okay.
Sage is not being put through the ringer right now.
I want to know so bad.
Yeah, Zadis had a bad day today. Everyone's having a bad day today.
Come back, Zadis. Can we just beam him
What's
back?
cracking
He's
me up is
literally
right now
a
while
prisoner
all
of our enemies again.
I know.
What's cracking me up about
That's
all
why
of
I'm like,
this is
why?
right now while all of this tension is happening, I could cut down to the quarters of Talosh, who's
Yeah, I love it.
just like sleeping.
He's gonna get out of the shower and like get up on the bridge, like, what's going on, guys? And we're like
Yeah.
killing Klingons.
Hello. Going into the holodeck.
What's up?
All right, so that's going to be it for our episode this week.
Zadis.
Definitely don't miss next week's episode. We will have a guest
It'll be a
coming
blast.
in.
Oh no.
Sally Ride.
Stay
You guys,
tuned for behind the shoe.
USS Sally Ride has. You even had admirals intercept your mission orders to keep you out of battle, and now you're being sent in. We'll
Admirals,
see. We will see what happens.
no.
So catch us next week, and we'll find out what happens on Shield of Tomorrow. And stay tuned. In the next 30 minutes, we're going to be up on Behind the Shield. I'm sure Sam has a lot of questions. So we will see you then. Until then, everybody, hailing frequencies are closed.